yeah, back. Hello, everyone. And we've got two newcomers as well. Chris, some people might remember Chris from our recent podcast interview. But Jay is new to the channel. So why don't we start with you, Jay? Just a quick intro, who you are, where you're from, what you do in terms of POD.
Sure, yeah. I'm Jay D'Souza. I'm the Jay behind Jay's Way, helping, trying to, I guess, make it a lot easier for everybody than it was for me to break the confines of that 9 to 5, right, and get into doing something you enjoy, and namely POD. I come from a corporate background of IT in a data center of a major bank and graphics department. I once managed of the largest publisher in Canada at the time, with over 140 direct reports, graphic designer reporting to me. Stress and craziness just led me down an unhealthy path until I decided to jump ship and do my own thing. And, it's been the most liberating and life-changing thing to be able to do POD in a way that has now led me into helping others learn how to do it without all the hurdles I've had over the last 10, 12 years. So excited to be here, man. Humbled. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Welcome.
What about you, Chris, for the people that don't know you yet?
My name is Chris Heckman. I started off college as pre-med, and instead I've ended up selling a lot of t-shirts. So I've been doing print on demand and e-commerce for eight and a half years now, primarily on Shopify. Built like 8 different brands, sold a couple of them. Excited to chat. And
awesome. I heard a ring doorbell thing. He must be getting a package or something. That print on demand delivery, probably, right?
Yeah. One of Chris's t-shirts.
It's going to show it live on the show.
Yeah, man, what a crazy path, though. I think it's probably fair to say that none of us, chose POD outright, right? It just kind of one way or another, our paths led down this road. It was like, wait a minute. I was selling t-shirts since high school, and it was like one of those things where you always had to have a bunch screen printed and carry them in your backpack or the trunk of your car later, and then figuring out how to hustle them. And then when you figure out one day that you actually don't need to hold inventory, and it's plausibly cheaper, you could just do it from anywhere. Super liberating. Never mind the introduction of direct to garment, because now as a designer, I was able to put whatever I wanted on a shirt and not just these, single color, simple vector type stuff that needed to be for screen printing or, vinyl plotting. It's amazing to see the evolution of the industry.
Yeah, and I had a print on demand. There's a yoga brand where I had the genius idea of things were going really well. I was like, why don't I overcomplicate this? And so I started sourcing 3PL products like yoga mats and just equipment, bunch of stuff from suppliers all around the world. And it just way overcomplicated things to the point that then I had to find a facility that could co-pack along with screen print and do print on demand. Then you have this whole global supply chain you have to manage, and it completely distracted myself. I wasn't aware at the time, but completely distracted me from just continuing to do the one thing that matters, and that was make really good designs that people love. And it so moral of the story is that I just keep coming back to print on demand. I've tried other models, and it's just the best in my opinion.
Nice. Yeah, that's really it. Creating the things that people want to buy, right? That. I feel like that's the main thing. So
yeah,
and it's so nice to be able to focus on that, right? Because Chris, in your situation, I was kind of in a similar situation for a little bit. You end up working in the business and not on the business, right? And you end up doing all the things that you're either not loving or B, not the best at, when we could be just cranking out the designs that we know we're good at doing and serving our target audiences, right? It's nice to not have to wear all of those hats.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for becoming a member, Asani. Thank you.
Wow.
Did you get your package, Philip? Something good?
Okay. Yeah. Obviously got a package, and I had to give a code just to make it extra long. Actually, something that Shimmy recommended to me, a NAS drive.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you recommended that on one of the last live streams, and that just arrived obviously when it starts.
Is that like a hard drive so you can put all your stuff on there?
You
all
can.
your
Well,
designs
it's
and stuff?
more than that. You can connect it to your router, and then you can access it from wherever. So I don't have to have
That's
it
right. Yeah.
linked up to my PC. I can use it. It's kind of like having your own Dropbox.
Dropbox, yeah. That's right. That's what I use. I use Dropbox right now. I was looking into NAS drives, and it was one or the other. It was going to be that or the Dropbox, right?
Yeah.
The Dropbox way.
Just a quick heads up as well. We are going to do shop reviews today. We
Nice.
tried it last time. We had one shop as a test, and it went quite well. So we'll have a document in the chat soon, like a Google Doc, where you can kind of put your links, and then later on during the call, we'll choose a few and just give our feedback on it. So you can look forward to that. We're going to talk about some topics, including trending political niches, Q4 plans and tips, Canva buying Leonardo, which is some recent news. It's been quite interesting. And there's some Etsy updates as well. We're going to talk about. We've got the link.
Nice.
The link in the chat now. Should be able to add your shop name there. Cool. And the first thing, and yeah, we're curious to hear where you're watching from. I know a few people have put comments. A few people have put comments, but let us know. The first topic that I've got on the list is all of the recent political trends. I feel like every time I open my niche research tool, there's a new niche that's trending around politics. So yeah, thoughts on selling those kind of shirts? And I know a lot of people have made a lot of money with it in the lower tiers. I've heard some people even like tier 10, tier 25. What do you do on Amazon? What do you do it on other platforms? Like, what's everyone's thoughts?
So go ahead. Well, I was just looking at Amazon. I haven't been doing any, but I've been looking at the top sellers on Amazon, and they have been political shirts, but they look like they've been done like in 2020. So I don't know if Amazon's letting new ones on there. I haven't tried myself. I'm just putting it out there. Do you guys know if they're even letting new political shirts on Amazon?
They have been for sure. I've seen a lot of new ones actually take off. Most of them were the Kamala Harris stuff that, as of the last like 2 weeks or so. But I was just going to say that the one thing that I would be very careful with so the golden rule of using political figures has always been that you can use anybody's name or likeness as they are candidates or while they're candidates, right? And then you can always use a POTUS. But once somebody stops being a candidate, so after the election, you'll need to take those down to be on the right side of the laws. What we're seeing is that people are just leaving them up, and it's really up to whether or not you're going to get served any kind of takedown, right? And then as a disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer, like go seek some professional opinions here, but the caveat with that is that the Trump camp, for example, also has his own trademarks and his own merch, and he has been known to go after, his team has been known to go after other merch sellers in the past. So I would just be very careful with that. But otherwise, I'm seeing people, especially on the Kamala side, who are making $800 to $1,000 regularly on their merch accounts a month. We're doing like 15 and 17K this past July. So of missed opportunities for some, for sure, myself included. Don't really do much politically, but there's definitely still you got another 4 or 5 months easy of some, I think, low hanging fruit there.
Yeah, my 2 cents on it is that the way that I think about it is there's 2 different aspects. It's like, one, like, can we get away with it? Like what you're talking about, Jay. Maybe not get away with it might be the wrong term, but like, can we do it? And then it's, should we do it? And not from like a moral standpoint, but from like a business standpoint. So like if we assume like, sure, we can do it, and it's going to, like, every design we upload is going to be fine, then the real question to me is like, should we be doing it? And when I first got started, I had a marketing, I was like doing Facebook ads for e-commerce brands and Amazon sellers. And in the beginning, a lot of brands that I worked with were these brands that jumped on the fidget spinner train. And some of them made an absolute killing. Like, they crushed it. And then there were other ones who were just slightly too far behind, and they ended up with the prize of a warehouse filled with fidget spinners that nobody actually wanted. And they were just out of luck. And I got the even more fun job of trying to run Facebook ads to sell fidget spinners after everybody already had 12 of them. But anyways, moral of the story is that the way that I look at products now, whether it's print on demand or anything, is I really want to go after things that are evergreen and brands that I know that it might not be as exciting as like, a quick spike in sales and then, something that I can capitalize on and make some nice money to be sure. I'd much rather take like the incremental steps and like improvements over time. Jay sold fidget spinners. Yeah,
I did.
Maybe we work together, Jay. But yeah. Anyway, I like now like focusing on building brands that are going to be like 1%. It's overused saying, but 1% better every day. And whenever I get into like trending topics or niches, maybe this is just the difference between Shopify versus Etsy. But I find that I just end up kind of deviating from what I should be doing. And whenever I reel myself back in and just get back on the path, I'm like, if I just kept doing this the whole time. And to give like like what that actually looks like is like on the yoga brand, during COVID, I got caught up in like political stuff and like all the trends and stuff. Then when I finally came back to the brand, if I had just kept doing like quote unquote boring work of growing that brand, I would have been in a much, much better spot.
And that's the thing, right? Like once the election is over, maybe those designs will, hopefully you'll have a slow trickle, but with those great peaks come the great valleys. And if you've got nothing going into the rest of Q4, then hopefully you made enough money to carry you. But, like literally everything sells in Q4. So like to neglect that for the quick cash, I think is not smart business.
I think it's good for people in lower tiers if they can catch a trend early and if it's safe to sell it, like if you're in tier 10, tier 25, whatever it is, or if you need money desperately now and that's like kind of a quicker way for it. But yeah, overall I definitely agree. If you're not in a rush, focusing on evergreen makes more sense long term. Like these political niches are very tempting because they're like very high demand. Like Amazon, I think like the top 100 shirts are all either Trump or Harris at the moment, aren't they? And there is a lot of new ones in there as well that have been just posted a week ago, which is crazy considering you can't run ads either. It's crazy that some are selling organically that well. But yeah, they can be distracting if you're already past those low tiers, if you've got the time to focus on evergreen, for sure. Any other thoughts on that, or actually this is a good transition into the next topic actually, since we just mentioned Q4. What everyone's plans? I'm guessing not sell politics shirts.
What about Juna? Are you selling any political stuff? You don't usually dabble,
No,
right?
I don't usually. I mean, but most of my stuff's evergreen, and yeah, now that I have more time, maybe. But I haven't done one recently. I don't have one. Yeah, Q4 plans though. I'm typically do a lot of stuff for Halloween, so I'm gonna try and push that again. Usually my October sales beat my November and December sales, so I'm gonna try again with cute Halloween costumes or group costumes, that kind of stuff. So
that's your specialty, isn't it?
That's my specialty. Yeah.
Have you made a mariachi costume, Juna?
No, that sounds fun though.
That's a sleeper one. Check that one out.
Okay, I will.
I have one that's been selling for like 8 years, 7 years.
Oh, Jay.
Your niche.
It's all right. It's literally like one of 3 Halloween designs I have. Also, something I don't hit much, but the mariachi one does well every year.
That's so cool. Okay, I'm on it.
It is what it is, right? It's a really big pie. It's not proprietary, and I mean, we can all get a slice. There's enough room.
Yeah.
Do those sell for you throughout the entire year, or is it just October, September?
October, but you'd be surprised how many people want to buy costumes. Like they're not actually costumes; you could use it whenever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get sales throughout the year too, just not as many as I do in October. But yeah, I do get some, so it helps.
I'm kind of the odd duck out. Our Shopify plans are probably maybe a little different than Amazon plans, but I can chime in that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Our plans are like all year long. We're just trying to build up our email list as much as possible, which really just comes down to driving profitable traffic, just kind of a byproduct of that. But then starting like 2 weeks before Black Friday, we start One, we have our holiday or like Christmas collection. That's like 50 to 75-ish designs in whatever niche. Like on History Tees, it was all like, Christmas oriented, sarcastic design. Like one of our top sellers was, it was about George Washington, and it said like Americans will cross a river to, I don't want to say the word because we're on YouTube, but like unalive you on Christmas. That was an absolute, like it absolutely crushed. It's just designs like that, 50 to 75 of them in whatever niche we're in. And then about 2 weeks before Black Friday, we start slowly emailing the list. And on that brand, the list was about, I don't know, about 50 or 60,000 people. And it like, if you're emailing them with like a warm up, like kind of like building hype, not just sale, but like building hype, saying, not only are there going to be great sales, but there's also going to be great products coming, and like really establishing like a relationship with people and showing that you're investing in them and not just, getting ready to get their credit card swiped, showing like this day in history around the holidays. And that's obviously specific to the brand, but like there's different flavors of that for any niche. And then all through from Black Friday up until like we use Printify's cutoff point, which is around like December 13th ish. It's just like 2 to 3 to 4 emails per week. And it's like each email, depending on if it's a sales email versus value, it's like 2 to 4 grand normally in sales at around that email list size. So like if you have double that, it would be roughly double. If it's half, roughly that. But yeah, pretty much all year long, it's building up to that point. And that's where like our profitability and revenue is like close to double, if not triple, like our average month during end of November and December.
So are you creating new designs just for Christmas, that kind of thing, so that you can, that's cool.
Yeah. And we just do like, it's pretty simple. Like we just like come up with Christmas designs and we just make a Christmas or holiday collection on the site. So it'd be like historytees.com/collections/holidays. And then just whenever we write emails, we just drive traffic to that collection.
Do you do like limited time offers? Like it's going to be, 20% off for this time period or something like that? How do you?
Yeah. We get creative. It's not like, it's like we'll do like 20% off or like 15% off one day, 20% the next, like that.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's cool.
And then another one that works really well is pretty much anybody with an email list, you can copy this email. It does really well. You say that you have a certain number of discounts or coupons at each threshold. You're like, we're giving away 50 discounts at 15% off. We're giving away 25 at 20% off, and like tier it down. And it's like basically hurry up and use the code. And people are like, as soon as they get the email, people grab the code and they try to go check out, and they're like, oh no, like it didn't work. That means I have to go to the next one. Like that kind of thing. It just gets, especially during Q4, like throughout the rest of the year, you want to be really careful with like just overly sales marketing and like messaging, because it just devalues the brand. Q4 is like the time that's like all bets are off. You can pretty much do whatever you want. People just have come to expect it. But yeah, there's a lot of fun. Another one is a gift card email. So saying like, hey, we added 13, come up with a random number. We added like $13.29 to your account. That subject line crushes. And then it's just a gift card. Come up with like a picture of a gift card that you make in Canva or something. Make it look branded. And then just the caveat is you have to spend like $75 or more. Those two emails alone do well during Q4.
Wow. Definitely completely different line of work than Amazon merch, isn't it? I don't think any of us like none of us have an email list for Amazon merch stuff.
Yeah, I was telling on the Ryan's thing the other day is that you guys have like, if everybody that I've talked to who does like Etsy and Amazon merch, you guys have so many designs, and it's crazy. Like I tell all of our students and like people who are going through the free course, like it's like 100 designs, like get to 100 designs, just make them different. We don't really do scalable designs, but I'm like, I would love to do like a case study with one of you guys and see like taking your thousands of designs. I would love to, and see like, because especially nowadays, the way that we drive traffic is with, and this might get a little technical, but like very basically it's like dynamic ads, and dynamic ads on Facebook do very well when they have just the larger the catalog they have to work with.
Wow.
You guys have that like in spades. So
Yeah.
I think
Honestly,
I'm
the
the
hardest part is
black
just
sheep.
designs.
You are, yeah. Jay's the black sheep.
I'm the black sheep that way. On Etsy, with 4 stores, the oldest being 12 years old, I have less than 1,000 designs across all 4 stores, and then, or 1,000 unique products, not even designs. And then on Amazon merch, I'm tier 8,000, but I have 1,600 designs, and I barely upload like 50 to 80 probably a year. This year has been an anomaly for me. I think I've put up 200 products with 87 designs already this year, but just trying to position myself. But yeah, 1,600 designs. You don't need a lot. You just need the right kind and the right marketing. I do have an email list that I leverage a little bit for Etsy, mostly for some Shopify stuff that I'm not very good at, self-confessed. But the bulk of my email list, and I know the value in it, is for having the freebies that we give away, right? The lead magnets for what we're doing or training or coaching, that sort of thing. To be able to leverage like a 22,000 plus Facebook group, and then instantly you've got a 5,000 person long email list, and you can see the metrics when people are opening and stuff. Like the value of that and providing real value in the content, I think supersedes having thousands of listings. It seems like misplaced efforts, at least in my book, right?
You do Shopify too, Jay?
Just dabbling. I can't say I'm great at it. My Etsy sales trump Shopify by far, and then Amazon is crushing Etsy right now, which is great.
Wow.
Yeah.
And your Shopify store is like your Etsy store, or something different?
One is it's a niche shop for sure. Yeah, and I probably have 80 listings in it total. And then the Etsy version of that store has I think we're probably less than 150 listings right now. And it's been around for 10 years and sells every day.
Wow, that's impressive.
Evergreen for the win, right? And just put the time. I would rather put
apparel,
a week.
or you do other products?
Straight up t-shirts, man. I'm selling, the Gildan 64,000 for like $32 US with shipping. So I sell my cheap shirts for more than most people sell the comfort colors, and you know what I mean? It's the brand, it's the marketing, it's you target a higher caliber customer when you have that perceived value of just being better, and you're less likely to get a customer who's going to leave you that 4-star review, right? That dreaded 4-star. It's still good, but it sucks. You're positioning yourself to get 5-star reviews, man. You want people to check out without batting an eye. But it's quality over quantity for me. It's just the way I've always done it. I don't know if I could even want to crank out as many designs as most PODers do.
To me, it's just fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
fun.
It has been working, but I think a lot of the aspect of it is just enjoyable to me as well. Like being able to create lots of designs quickly. But if you get so many slots as well with higher tiers, you kind of feel the urge to fill them out. It's not necessary.
I don't think I'll ever get out of tier 8,000.
It's hard. It's harder now.
We've got enough sales, but yeah, at the rate of 18 designs per year, probably not.
Yeah, I'm not getting out of my tier anymore. Too, I'm at 100,000, and they changed it so that you have to have 100,000 designs to get out of 100,000. So
yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know how I'm going to make 100,000 designs. That's crazy.
Isn't that the highest tier though? 100,000?
No,
there's 200. Higher. I think I've seen 300 even.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how people are getting out of it, but that's awesome.
That's crazy, man.
I have a question for Mike. Once Q4 hits, are you going to raise your prices, or will you stick to the low royalties?
That's the famous question. So I've actually been raising my prices because I was getting so sick of everybody making fun of me. So last month I bumped up from $14.99 to $17.99. So that's my new favorite price now.
Nice, good.
And on some of my, it kind of depends on the niche, but on some of my other evergreens that have been selling well and have a lot of reviews, going up to $22.99, which is a nice, I think, $7
for standard.
Yeah, for standard.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, good for you, man. From what you're just saying, going up to $18, you just literally doubled your income. I remember watching a video and I commented on one. It was like, you didn't hit the mark you had wanted for that particular month, and I was just like, well, just raise your prices. You do that, you instantly double your income. And like, yeah, I didn't. It wasn't. I meant it in a positive way, of course, but it's just like, yeah, it's surprising to me that people intend to intentionally price so low. The $18 for a t-shirt is cheap still, right? Like it's just like that perception, I think.
Yeah, I do 19 and 20. Those are my two.
It depends on the approach. I think both approaches can work in their own way. Like Tamas, for example, he shared his sales recently again on my Discord server, and his pricing is very, very low. His only target is to get a higher conversion rate, and obviously the lower you price, at least on Amazon, like you are going to get more conversions, and he's doing amazing with it. I mean, he's already like doubled or tripled his sales since last year. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, he
Gotta test it, see what works
the other day. So if anyone's in the Discord server, you can see it there.
Yeah, for years we were selling at $19.99, and I just had a completely unfounded belief in my head, or limiting belief, whatever you want to call it, that nobody's going to pay more than $20. Until finally, like, our costs got so high that I was like, all right, we got to do it. So we did like a split test software that basically duplicated all of the products and compared like everything from $20 all the way up to 30, and $26.99 won out. It was actually like a slightly higher conversion rate. And then just recently, I was going to do the split test software again. My wife, who's my business partner, she was like, I'm not waiting for a split test software. So she just jacked up the prices overnight, and everything's been going well. Conversion rate stayed steady. Just cost of goods is down a lot. Our cost of goods is down to like 39% of total sales, which before it was like 44, 45. Cool. So it's an extra 5-6% net profit from that.
I will say that 27 marker is the magic number I found too. It's 27 to 27.50 is what I charge, and then a $6 to $7 US shipping on top of that. That $27 mark though, US dollar, seems to be that, $28 doesn't work as good. $26 sales dip. It's crazy.
Yeah, and on shipping, we tried. It was like $6 or $7 at like 99 cents. I tested rounding it down to like a random number, and it actually increased conversion rate, because I think it comes across as like it was based on your weight or something. So now we charge $4.87, and it converts way higher than $4.99.
Yeah, wow. Ending in a 7 and odd numbers always seems to win out. There's a psychology behind it. I don't know what it is, but like people are conditioned. Like you'll see in the Walmarts, you'll see the 97s all the time. Like these companies have put hundreds of millions of dollars into the psychological aspects, or of their pricing, right? So like, who are we to disagree? Literally.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing though.
That's your pricing for Etsy, Jay? The 27?
Etsy, yeah, 27 to 27.50, and it's round numbers. I feel like Etsy, round numbers give that perception that you're still at like a boutique kind of flea market or fair or something like that, as opposed to the 99 that seems ultra corporate. And then $27 though just seems to be a magic number, and then $6.95 or $6.50 shipping US on top of everything else. The nice thing with charging shipping on Etsy versus you get that, versus rolling it into your price, you get that lower initial price point, even though you're priced a good $8 to $10 above everybody else. Because with the perceived value, if you're only charging $2 more than somebody else's, I believe that I'm going to be that person. I'll scrutinize and be like, what's the difference here? For $2, I'll go for the better deal. For a $10 or $8 US increase, I'm like, well, this is clearly better value because it's higher price, so it's going to be the perception is that it's better quality, it's a better quality print, all of the things that go along with the same reasons why the major brands on the planet charge 40 and 50 no problem for a t-shirt, right? For just 100% cotton shirt. The nice thing about charging shipping versus rolling that in though is that you do have still a little bit of a lower initial price point that the customer sees, but also when you're running those 20 or 30% off sales, that comes off the ticket price, not the shipping price. So the shipping is a chance to make that 20 or 30% back. It just seems to be a recipe that has worked for me anyway. Lots of ways to win, but that's what has worked for me.
That's what I've also tested different strategies on Etsy, offering free shipping, the different discounts, etc. And I always settle on running a sale of like 20% or something along those lines, and charging for shipping right on top of that. And yeah, on the topic of like high pricing as well, I was surprised when I started on Etsy that people would buy coffee mugs for say $30, which you also wouldn't kind of expect. You'd think like maybe 20s or 19.99 is the magic number, but no, people buy it. That's with shipping included, right? That nicely transitions to the next topic, which is the news of Etsy with the new membership model. I think Jay, you made a video about this, didn't you?
I did, yeah. You know,
this is where I go on mute. I have nothing to.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
See you guys.
Yeah, it was just my initial kind of like a hot take on it kind of thing. It sounds like they're going to introduce a program that is similar to what Amazon would be their Amazon Prime thing, where members, it's a buyer's membership, to be clear. And I'm not sure how much it costs yet, but it's going to roll out in the next 8 to 12 weeks, they said. Based on what they said, sellers could submit, the timeline for submitting designs and your shop to be part of the program was 8 to 12 weeks. I think they said they were going to try to launch it in September at some point, so a little earlier than the deadline for being accepted as on the seller end. But it's going to come with two facets. So with drops and the free shipping and massive discounts. So they're hoping to have shops offer 50 to 75% discounts. And that's if you were going to join this program, you have, as a seller, you've got some multiple choice questions there. What is your maximum, discount you're willing to offer? But you can also join on the premise of having the free shipping offer. So that being that you can still charge for shipping, but Etsy will compensate them. So their membership will give them this access to free shipping. They'll also get like a birthday gift incentive or something to that effect. But it makes all the sense in the world if you've never charged for shipping to A, raise your prices, and B, charge for shipping, because now they're going to get free shipping as part of this membership, but Etsy's going to pay you for the shipping anyway. So, I mean, it's win-win, right? Like, you're not losing at all. You're making more money that way, and you're able to leverage the benefits of this membership. So I don't know how it's going to go. I mean, to be determined, right? It hasn't launched yet, but Etsy buyer's membership. So we'll see how that goes. The stock price, went up $3 on announcing this the night before, and then the day after, on August 1st, it dipped $5. So I don't know what the long-term ramifications are going to be there, but interesting. And yeah, if you've never raised your prices now, they say in it too, and to be clear, Etsy literally has a spot where it says, Q&A, should we raise our prices, blah, 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 for this? And they're like, well, no, or should we, if we already offer free shipping, should we now charge for shipping? They say no, because you could potentially deter your customers from buying if they're used to that. But if you've trained your customers to expect free shipping, and you have repeat customers, like we all should, then, you're sure the large portion of your consumer base organically is going to be, put off by now having to pay for shipping. But you still have, 6 weeks or so before they launch this to retrain your customers. So I think,
is this optional, or is this it's everything that's Etsy? It's
optional as a seller if you want to join and partake in the 50 to plus whatever discounts, but you can also, Etsy will just, if you're charging for shipping, Etsy will just throw shops in there, like people that pay for this membership will just get free shipping. Right. Nice. So it's win-win for if you don't opt in to offer discounts either way.
Cool.
So far, so what I understand anyway.
And this is different than the $15 fee that Etsy's charging for new members too, right? That's the difference.
Yeah, that fee is just for sellers. This is a buyer membership, so like an Amazon Prime type thing. Yeah.
So Amazon Prime, right? You buy Prime membership, you get free shipping.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay, I see.
Free shipping, not fast shipping, I guess.
Depends on who you use, but yeah, I mean, not Prime shipping, that's for sure. Yeah.
Mike, you sell on Etsy as well, don't you? Do you usually charge for shipping, or do you have it free?
I used to do it for free, but just at the beginning of this year, I stopped, and now I'm charging $4.99 for US and $7.99 for Canada, because I hate getting sales from Canada because I never really make any money because of the shipping. But now I am, and I like what you said about the mugs. I am charging about $30 a mug with shipping. $24.99 for the 15 ounce, I think, plus the $5 shipping. So making like almost, with the Etsy fees taken out, maybe around like $13 a pop. I'm saying same thing with the t-shirts. I'm doing like $24.99. And then $4.99 for shipping, US.
Nice.
I like Etsy.
What kind of t-shirt are you selling?
The Gildan 6400 from Printful, and then the women's Anvil 880, I think, is it?
Nice. Yeah.
Do you use Printful or are you using Printify?
I'm a Printify guy. I used to use Printful back in the day, but then, I think it was 2020 with they were like 6 to 8 weeks behind, and it was just killer.
Oh yeah, that was bad. Yeah,
we actually bought our own print equipment and started printing our own for ourselves because the Canadian. I'm Canadian. We were still living in Canada at the time. All our warehouses had inventory, but we just had no means to get it to our customers. So we just bought a bunch of print equipment, conveyor dryer, renovated the garage in like 6 months, a detached garage, and started our own print shop. And we're able to now, export to the States, and yeah, it was easy. We made our money back that Q4 on all the print equipment, but Printify has been bar none super simple that way, because you can, route your orders to people. Like you say, you don't like shipping, it's expensive shipping to Canada. I would just route it to a Canadian supplier, right? And now you're costing you less to ship. So I'll always try to ship from a facility closest to the customer. It's cheaper for me, but I'll also charge shipping as though I'm shipping from the States to Germany or wherever, right? So worst case scenario, I'm charging $20 US to ship from US to Germany. But if I can potentially fulfill that order from nearest the customer, it's only going to cost me $6 or $7 now. So it's an extra $13 bump on the shipping cost, right?
Yeah, it'd be nice if Printful could get a fulfillment center in Canada, because they have them everywhere else except for Canada. It seems like
they don't have one in Canada. I thought they did. Yeah, interesting.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. That's why
yeah, it depends on the product, I imagine.
Yeah,
shipping's so expensive.
Yeah,
Canada. You can set on Printful. You can set your selling region and it'll filter out products that they offer in that selling region.
Do you use Printful, Philip?
Yeah. Well, I use my first store. I started with Printful, and that's where I'm selling these mugs mostly. That's all with Printful. Now I basically just use my designs because it's so much easier to list with them. But they also integrate with Printful, amongst others. But yeah, there seems to be some products in Canada. Maybe it's just the ones you're selling and they don't have a center in Canada.
Could be.
There was just a question that was kind of related to this. Someone was wondering about organic or green products. I guess that's also something that Chris will be able to talk about, of whether that's part of like a Shopify strategy, maybe depending on the brand. And this was a follow-up.
I found that it's something that a lot of people like to say that they want, and then when you put it on the site, it doesn't actually increase conversion rate.
So
we and I split tested that actually like 3 years ago or so. Yeah, people I saw probably all the same surveys and studies that you guys did, where people said they're willing to pay like 60% of people say they're willing to pay more for like organic products. I was like, cool. Then I put it in there, and not really the case. I find that that's the case with like a lot of anecdotal things. Like we had a lot of people on History Tees requesting like children's sizes. So we like bent over backwards to make it work with we were all Printify, Monster Digital. They didn't have any kid sizes. So we bent over backwards to like make it work with a different supplier, put it up on the site, sold like 3 of them. We're like, cool. And then same thing with 5XLs. Like we were Monster Digital again, Gildan 64,000. They only go up to 3XL. So we were like, all right, cool. A lot of people have requested it. Put 5XL on the site, like sold 4. So it's the anecdotal things, I guess. So you need to actually just test it for yourself to find out if it's true or not. But that's why every time I hear something like that now, I'm like, if what I'm doing is currently working and I know that there are things that I'm currently doing that I can improve on, I'm just going to do that rather than I've taken every exit for every shiny object along the way.
Yeah.
Now I'm just going to keep doing more of what's already working.
Just going to say there's always a shinier object somewhere, right? But it's, you could just massage the beast or, grease the wheels and keep them going and get faster at what you're already doing. But like maintaining that linear focus, especially between now and the end of the year, I think is paramount, man. Everybody's still looking around. Oh, there's a new product drop. I'm like, just do what you're doing. Just get better at it and master it. And, be the best at that. Right. it's so easy to fall off that train.
Yeah, shiny object syndrome is tough. Like whether you're a creative person or an entrepreneur, I think you always kind of battle against that, don't you? I bet it's the same for you as well, Juno, right? You're very creative. I bet you've got so many ideas that you want to do, but
yeah, I have a big list.
Focus on.
Yeah.
Well, at least you've got more time now.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like that's the same with even, the niches, right? Like if you've nailed like 2 or 3 niches and you just double down, right? Do more in that same vein, even design wise, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's probably one of the biggest struggles is that we all have in POD is that you see from people is that I don't know, I can't figure out a niche, I can't do this, I can't do that, and or they're trying to sell to literally everybody, and you end up, the old proverb is try to sell to everybody, you'll end up selling to nobody, right?
Yeah, that was my favorite kind of shiny object syndrome. I would build a brand to like a certain point where like I got really good at building to that point, and then anytime it got there, I realized that it took like a different skill set to break through to the next level, and I would come up. I wasn't conscious of this or aware of it at the time, but what was happening is like I would hit that level, and then rather than double down, learn the new skill set, like hiring and building a team, like whatever systems, whatever it is that's going to require to break through, said I would just go, okay, this one's good. Then I would start a completely different brand and think, if one brand's doing well, 3 brands will be better, right? It just ends up being 3 times worse, 3 times more expenses and headaches and
3 times the work.
Exactly. And now every time somebody like asks me like, okay, like I got my brand to this point, now I'm going to add a different product type, or now I got it to this point, I'm going to start my second site now. I'm like, please, no, like hear the pain in my voice when I tell you, don't do it. And then especially like we did sell like the portfolio, and we thought like portfolio sounds good, right? Like it's a fancy, where nobody likes to hear that. It's like, why isn't it just one brand? And you're like, good
shiny
question.
Object.
Yeah.
You have to make those mistakes to learn from them sometimes, don't you? So yeah, let's talk about the next topic, Canva buying Leonardo.
Nice.
Interesting move, and it makes me wonder what's going to happen. Like, could you imagine Adobe buying Midjourney or something like that?
Yeah. Well, I really think Canva is trying to compete with Adobe, because Adobe does have some good AI stuff on there. And Canva recently bought Affinity Design, or Affinity, the whole thing. So one thing that Canva was missing was a good pen tool and just things like Illustrator and Photoshop and things like that, which they bought with Affinity, which is very comparable. And then now I think Canva is buying Leonardo to kind of up their AI game, which Canva does have AI currently, but it's not as good as Adobe has. So I think that's what they're doing. I can't believe they're doing. It's going to be a totally different Canva by next year, I think. So
they're making moves, and that's one stock I slept on.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know how they're going to integrate it though, because I'm sure there's going to be some tiers and stuff, because there is Canva free, and I'm guessing you're not going to get Leonardo for free. Maybe you will, or Affinity Designer for free. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like an upcharge if you want Leonardo included or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you used Leonardo recently? I've not used that for ages.
It's changed. So I made a video. One of my top videos is Leonardo, but I've been using ChatGPT for a while, and I went back to look at it. It's wow. They look like they had a makeover or something. They really, I don't know if it's because of this that Canva put some money into it, but it's really different now, and it's I'm guessing it's better. I haven't tried it. I might have to make a video. So
they simplified it a lot, right, Juno?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
I think how Leonardo originally started was more like it was for like game figures, like
and there's still that. I think that's still like the thing they do the best is people and environments. Like if you're trying to do something, and this is why I'm not using Leonardo and I'm using ChatGPT, because if you're trying to do something like I do, like the cutesy dog or whatever, it's not the best for that. But if you're trying to do like a person, a realistic looking person or environment, it's really good for that. So
talk about shiny object syndrome with AI generators. Like there's a new update on them like every week.
They keep getting better and better.
Which one's the best. Do you have a go-to, Chris? Because I know you've tested a lot of them as well. We've built your own even.
Yeah, I was just gonna say shiny object. Who needs another one of those? I've tested a lot of them. Leonardo, it's kind of funny because Leonardo. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a site called Civit AI, but it's basically a site where people are able to make. It's a pretty cool site where people can make like indie artists and stuff, and developers are able to make like their own little models. And Leonardo, it's like a lot of those exact model, like literally named like Leonardo's drop downs, where it's like jumbo, diffusion, run diffuse, like some of those names, like they're literally from Civit AI, like made by those design. Like they were built, and they admit it, like they talk about all this openly. It's not like a groundbreaking thing, but I just found it so fascinating that like they were built on that for the longest time, and then they just recently with like their Phoenix model, whatever the latest one is, that's the first one supposedly where they completely went off on their own. But yeah, I think from talking with everybody, like the students and stuff, the ones that people are using by far the most for print on demand are like ideogram for text, like bar none. And Philip, your videos are awesome on those.
Thank you.
Literally every time you post one of those, I send it to our developers. I'm like, learn what Philip is doing. And then Mid-Journey for graphics, but it's not like really able to keep up, at least like what I've heard anecdotally. Yeah, it's when it comes to like the AI models, to me, it's important for people and like all print on demand sellers, even the one that I'm building as well, like to just view it as like what it is. Like it's a tool, like, and any good print on demand seller, like it's about reading the market, seeing what there's demand for, and then coming up with a way to like improve it. And then where we are, like the ideas that we have, and then what tools can we use to close that gap, whether if that's, ideogram, Canva, Photoshop, Illustrator, like whatever the tool is, and then just learning one tool and just getting really good at it. Same thing with like driving traffic. I'm like, there's a million different traffic sources. Any of them can work. Just learn one of them and stick with that. Back to shiny object. Like, don't let, the latest, greatest model, like when Mid-Journey 47.5 comes out, like if you're still good, if you've been working on ideogram this whole time, like just keep doing that. Like all the AI models nowadays are like getting so good, like any of them can really do what you need. What we're trying to build is basically just simplifying it down to be just meant for print on demand sellers. So,
nice.
There's less prompting and that sort of thing. That's actually how Philip and I got connected like a year ago. I paid for a 30-minute call, and Philip got on, was like, so like, how long you been doing print on demand? I was like 8 years. And he's like, why are we having this call? Like, no, I want your advice. But yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, it was very unexpected. Yeah, did you even have a YouTube at that point?
No, I think it had like just barely started. I think I had like a few thousand subscribers. That's cool, like 1,000 or 2,000.
That's so cool. Oh, I wanted to say one thing. Oh, go ahead. You go first, Michael. Or whoever was speaking.
No,
I was just going to say, go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
No, I wasn't going to say anything. You guys go.
Oh, there's a question in the chat about is Recraft any good? Have you guys used that for? I know people were using it for mock-ups, like for what do you call it, smart mock-ups. So have any of you guys used that? The Etsy sellers, Mike, have you tried it?
Never heard of it.
No,
I did a video.
Go ahead, Jonah. I haven't heard of it.
I did a small video for it, but I haven't been using it consistently. But it seemed like it can do some things. Like I believe it has a pen tool and things like that. It's a graphic design tool where you can use AI as well as do graphics on it. So when text and all that.
Their mock-up tool is amazing.
It looks so cool. Is it good?
I haven't seen it anywhere else. What it's able to do now, like full disclosure, like their workflow, I don't think is ideal. Like it's all done in like a massive canvas, which to me isn't like the perfect solution for print on demand specifically. But what their mock-up tool can do is insane. You can literally prompt it to say flat lay t-shirt with, yoga stuff around it, whatever you want. And then it like somehow magic, whatever. It reminds me of the quote, like any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. That's what this feels like. And it's able to detect like if the shirt is like angled or anything, wrinkled, or if there's wrinkles. Yeah. And then you just drag your design over to it. And then it what's it like? It'll drag and drop it onto the t-shirt. And so, you know, like a lot of tools, they can just like drag it flat and put it over. Like that's pretty typical. But it literally reads the design and makes it look so photorealistic.
Yeah,
the
like
AI image generator isn't, like, to Josh's question, it's not, at least the couple times I tried, it wasn't amazing, but the mock-up tool is super cool.
Nice. Good to know.
I was going to say, the thing I like about AI as a creative is that AI can create things that you may not even see on clip art, right? Like if you have really good imagination and create a really good prompt, you could create something that's hasn't been done ever before. Whereas if you're using clip art, you're kind of limited to what other people have been thinking about and what other people have access to. But if you have AI and a good imagination and good AI, it could create something that, you know, it's totally different, not out there anymore, and can really help you maybe get those sales because you're one of one now, right? You're not copying anybody. So.
And on that note, a way that my wife has been using like different AI tools is like if we have our niche, like say we're selling in yoga, rather than just researching in yoga specific stuff and like you kind of get burnt out at a certain point. You're like, I've seen every idea that there is. She's like, go to adjacent verticals or niches and see like what are the top selling styles and designs there, and then use that, include that as like a separate mood board, and then go over to like ideogram or whatever tool and try to prompt to create something like that, but for your niche. So like one of our top sellers is like, I like blank and maybe 3 people, crushes in every niche. I originally found that in a completely different niche that wasn't in yoga, but then we took it, made it, I like yoga and maybe 3 people, and it's dominated. But I just thought that was a good idea, especially when it comes to like design fatigue. I'm sure you guys all have experience with this, where at a certain point you're like, I know every design there is. Like, give me flashcards, I can name it. So it's just a way to like keep it fun and you know, get the creative juices flowing and integrating AI into that workflow.
Yeah, that's a really good strategy. And someone asked something similar, a similar question before. T Cash said, "What works for you best? Finding existing ideas and make a better version of the existing designs, or coming up with a totally new idea?" So I guess it's original versus recreating like a bestseller in a better way. I think what Chris said is kind of in between. Like you see a bestseller, but you apply it to a different niche in a creative way. But yeah, what's working best for you guys?
I do both. I probably do both. I do a better version of what's already out there, or I try to think of something totally new that nobody's done, and just put it out there and see what works. So sometimes I get sales on one, and sometimes I get sales on others. So
I think totally new ideas can be really good if they resonate with the market, but a lot of them will also fail. Like you have to kind of accept that.
Yeah, you're testing.
If you've got an existing idea that you know is already working, you've kind of got some more reassurance.
Correct.
Probably going to sell.
You're taking a bigger chance with the new one, but if it does pop off and you get it, you're first to market with that new idea, and hopefully get a lot of the sales. So it's a risk, but.
And I like to channel like the creativity for like original designs in like a somewhat proven direction.
Yeah.
So like I worked with my dad on history tees. He had 0 print on demand experience, but he loved history. And so in the beginning I said, just like look across the board, what are styles that sell well? And he saw like, I mean, the typical print on demand stuff, but like monocolor, very simple designs. But he saw history people really liked like humor. So we came up with like a bunch of different angles for that. And one of them was Lincoln 5-star review. It's just like a simple picture of Lincoln, like one out of 5 stars, Ford's Theater, would not recommend. He had one of those out of like the original 100. Like 95 of the designs did terrible, did literally nothing. And that's another note for anybody who's making designs. Like a lot of them fail. Like that's okay. You're getting better. Like just put it to the side and just keep on moving. But when he saw that, you know, one of those did really well, he was like, I'm going to be as creative as possible in that direction. So then he literally reads like history textbooks for fun. Like what a guy. But so as he was reading, he would come up with like, all right, what are ideas for like other historical events that I can come up with a funny spin off of? And then he came up with like Custer's Last Stand, like a quote from him saying, like the president who died or unalived himself from getting pneumonia during his inaugural address. He was like, has anybody seen my coat for that guy? So it was like all creative and the unique ideas, but it was backed by like a proven concept. So then he knew that like as he's investing all that time and coming up with creative new concepts, it wouldn't just be, way out in left field. It was based on, something.
Cool. Yeah. Using data and giving yourself the best chance, right?
I think that's almost the best strategy if you compare them all, because just recreating a design that already exists, you're not really bringing anything new to the market. Completely new ideas. There's a lot of risk that it flops. But what Chris just described, I think that's like a good combination of the two that has kind of the most potential. And that's kind of how it's been for me as well. It's usually applying something that works in another niche, and the niches that I already know are working for me is usually the easiest way to sell new designs. But we've got a bunch of questions here. We're doing the Q&A now. So yeah, if anyone's got more questions, let us know. I've got a few saved from earlier, so let's try and get through a few. We've got, is Pinterest ads worth it? By Josh. Has anyone tried it?
I haven't tried it.
No, I haven't tried it, but I probably won't.
I've tried it. It sucked.
I have not tried it, but I will try it before I write it off.
Okay.
They even gave me they were running a promo, like spend $5,000, get $5,000. The performance was so bad that even after that, it wasn't.
Do you have a lot of control like with the demographics that you're targeting with Pinterest, or is it just kind of like an Etsy?
Yeah, it felt like they had like tried to rebuild Facebook Ads Manager, like kind of like TikTok did.
Oh.
But what I found, it was just, and again, this is just my experience, and it was like 2 years ago, so maybe it's vastly improved. I mean, ad platform changed a lot, but at the time, it was very cheap traffic, but hardly any of it converted.
I know I get emails a lot from Pinterest people wanting to sign up for Pinterest and do it.
That was after a test of, I think we spent like $7 or $8,000. So it wasn't just like a couple $100. We gave it an actual shot.
Nice. Thanks for testing.
That answers that question then.
I've had some decent results with Pinterest proper, but I've never run ads. Right?
Okay.
Not paying?
No.
All right, next. Josh again. Oh.
Canva or Kittle?
Kittle. I've never used Canva, so I can't really speak on that. I do love Kittle.
Yeah, I would say it depends on what you're looking for. Kittle's really good at fonts and templates, and but you can't really use it for free unless you're trying to do, just playing around with it. There is a subscription there that you need if you're going to do it for print on demand. Their AI is really good. I think this is why Canva's trying to buy all these other things, because not only competing with Adobe, but they've got to compete with Kittle now too, because Kittle has been getting better and better and better with their AI and with all this stuff. They got multiple artboards now that Canva it didn't have, but Canva does have. So yeah, they're all trying.
Kittle was actually designed with typography in mind. That was the main focus.
Yeah, that's who it was designed by. Typography Foundry. That's why they have so many really good fonts and text effects that Canva doesn't have. That kind of text effects that Kittle will have. Okay. I'm wondering what's the strengths of Canva. Is free, so I think a lot of people go there because of that. Trying to think why else I would choose Canva over Kittle. I have a video for it, but it's been a while. So,
but
for
on that
POD,
topic as well,
I gotta go with Kittle, hands down. Their AI is just bust. Even from the background remover, I tried to confuse it by using a guy holding a 9-iron or something in front of a bunch of trees. So he's holding this golf club out to the side, and it's in it's a forest backdrop with a bunch of different colors. And I clicked that AI background delete, and it did a beautiful job. And all you saw was this golf club amidst a bunch of tree branches. Right, all the trees are gone, the forest is gone. I'm like, holy crap! This would have taken me so long in Photoshop. Right. So yeah, it's impressive and it's exponentially better. So I have to go in terms of POD, I have to go Kittle, no question.
I will say Canva does have video, which Kittle doesn't have. So if you're wanting an all-inclusive kind of thing, which I use Canva videos and B-roll in my videos, And that's one of the reasons I have Canva. And they just have a ton of graphics too. So I don't know who has more, because Kiddo has a lot of graphics too. So it was hard to say who has more on that part.
I would also say, again, like, it depends which tool you work the best with. Like, you have to find what's your favorite, in a sense. Like, back to the shiny object syndrome, you don't have to keep testing 5,000 different tools if you're already proficient with Illustrator and that works for your designs, right? Like, I started everything out with Adobe products and I still use them all the time. I wish I had Kittle back in the day, because that would have made it a lot easier to get started. And I love testing different tools and sharing my experience on the YouTube channel. But that doesn't mean that every time I show a new tool, you need to like jump back and forth. Like, find what works best for you and stick to that. If you love Canva, fine. You don't have to use Kittle to succeed in print on demand.
No. But they do have really good templates on Kittle, designed by, when you compare the templates on Kittle versus the templates on Canva, the templates on Kittle seem like they're designed by artists, like graphic designers, where if you go on Kittle and look at their templates, a lot of them look like they're just really simple. And simple works sometimes, but it depends which one you want, right?
And that's a good point. I think it comes down to your skill set too, and your comfort with like learning new tools, because I think the learning curve with Canva is a lot, easier than, Kittle. It's designed in a way that almost mimics a lot of the Creative Cloud. I was chatting with Philip about this yesterday, the day before, but like even their keyboard shortcuts, I tried one because I'm an Illustrator user. I tried a keyboard shortcut and it worked, and I didn't even realize that I had done it. It was just out of habit, right? And like, as soon as I realized I had done it, I'm like, oh no, what did I just break? But no, it worked. Like, so they're mimicking a lot of the stuff. I think it seems like they've taken the best components from the Adobe suite and tried to implement them or integrate them. So it's a bigger learning curve, but it's way more robust, I think, in terms of, especially when you're looking at POD end that way. I don't know, excited to see where they go with it.
Yeah.
Cool. Totally different question here by Multiverse Fans. What should we do? Whose merge by Amazon has not been accepted yet? So yeah, how to get accepted into Amazon merge, essentially. Very common question. Has anyone got?
I was thinking the other way when you read this question. I'm like, what do you do? Well, go start another POD site first, and while you're waiting, then maybe do TeePublic or something. Like get into it and start.
If anybody has or tells you that they have the secret sauce of how to get approved, they're lying. That's number one, other than maybe buying an account, which is against the terms of service. So don't do that, because you will put all kinds of time into making money, and it'll be quick money. If you get past the threshold of 1 month and you actually get paid out, consider yourself lucky, because you're probably going to get terminated after that. But otherwise, I mean, I would say put your best foot forward and treat it like a job interview, and continue applying until you hopefully one day get accepted. I think that's
what percentage of people would you guys say, just anecdotally, like from your experience, get approved versus not?
Now,
10%. Yeah, it seems pretty low.
Well, a Shopify has 100% acceptance rate.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. Try something else while you wait.
Etsy, that's even higher than Etsy. Etsy's like 95, because, it depends on everything that you pay and pass, and survive a temporary payment reserve or something like that. But even Etsy too, for sure. Yeah, you can make way more money on Shopify and Etsy than you can on merch if you do it right. And I would not wait around. That's the one thing. Like, to Juna's point, don't wait around for an acceptance email from merch. Right. Start working on honing your craft and put it up elsewhere.
Yeah. And if that's scary to you, intimidating, like a Shopify, Etsy, or if your budget is very low, at least try something like TeePublic, just to get used to creating designs, doing titles, etc. Just waiting to get accepted in Amazon merch is not really getting any further. But I had a poll a few weeks ago on my YouTube. I've shared this in a video, but whilst we're on the topic, and I asked, how many times did it take you to get accepted? And it seemed like 2/3. I don't know exactly now. I think it was 2/3 of people got accepted first try, or 1/3 of people. Sorry, 1/3 of people got accepted first try, and 2/3 after multiple attempts.
Wow.
So that shows it is definitely possible with multiple attempts. Some took 2 or 3 tries, others over 10 even. So there is definitely a spectrum, but yeah, still a lot of people get accepted.
Yeah.
Even now, and I sometimes hear about it. People also get accepted from countries like Morocco, which some people say is impossible. But I have spoken to people on Discord who naturally got accepted through applying. So yeah, don't buy into the you need to purchase an account if you live in this country narrative.
Yeah.
Right. What have we got next? Another Canva question. Now, if I use elements in Canva to sell digital PNGs for Etsy, will customers who download it without Canva Pro be able to use it?
Oh, I didn't know you could do that, actually. Can you sell Canva elements as PNGs on Etsy?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I would think that's against.
Yeah.
What about if they're like mashed together into something new? Is that a different story? Or?
You probably have to use that as an element or something like that, but you can't just take it away from Canva, upload onto it.
I could be wrong, and obviously have to check the TOS, but I think it has to be used in a finished item. So you'd have to sell it as part of either a printed shirt or a published book.
You can't sell the artwork itself because that's against the service. You could do with AI though, if you wanted to have good AI products and sell them as a digital PNG.
Yeah, I've been doing that with Ideogram, making AI designs on Ideogram, and then uploading them as PNG files onto Etsy for $5 a pop.
Wow! How many do you put in the $5 bundle? Like 10?
Well, sometimes I do a whole bunch, like 25 or 50, and then sometimes I'll just do, if it's like really good, I'll just do one, $4.99.
Really?
Yeah, but it has to be like a good quality, like really, nice looking one.
Okay. That's cool.
That's awesome.
Check it out.
It's one of those things that we always think about. I know it's been in the back of my mind for almost 2 years now, just selling some designs. But Mike, I might pick your brain about some of the strategies you're using there, because that sounds like something we all should do. I have a catalog of designs I haven't listed yet. So.
Yeah,
collecting dust.
Just got a new question from Jace. I thought this was pretty interesting, especially since we've got Chris here who's tested lots of stuff. With the supposed obesity epidemic, does anyone have much success selling 4XL and 5XL?
Yeah. Well, trying to. We sold some, but my story is as a percentage basis of what we were selling before of 3XL and 2XL, it just wasn't statistically significant. But funny story about that. So on the yoga brand, we were selling, basically I just sell 3XL and that covers 90% of it. That's my answer at least. But on the yoga brand, we were selling our biggest size, our most popular size by far, not even close, was 3XL and 2XL.
Wow.
And then we were like, all right, we're a yoga brand. Great idea. It's going to be selling yoga mats. People are going to love that. So we sourced a ton of yoga mats, ordered over 10,000 of them, had them in the warehouse, and we emailed our list. We're like, this is going to sell like hotcakes, no problem. Great designs on them. They look beautiful. So sent an email to the list. I think we sold 12.
Oh no.
And the reason, I'm going to try to say this without getting canceled, is that what we found is that we surveyed them, and we found that a lot of the people that are buying the 3XL and 2XLs were not actually doing yoga. That they just like the design on the shirt. But then when we put it into ads and set it up with a different pixel, it started targeting, and it knew okay, people that actually do yoga, these products, we sold to them anyway. But yeah, kind of a tangent. But yeah, 3XL is our 2 and 3XL are our top sellers, but 4 and 5XL for us was not worth the extra headache.
Interesting.
That's super interesting. I would argue that it's probably going to be niche specific. I'm super surprised to hear that 2XL and 3XL were your biggest sellers but turns out that
it's literally every brand ever has been that I've done has been 2 and 3XL, not even close. And it's predominantly 60 to 65 plus men and female. On History Tees, it was 80% male, 20% yoga. It was flipped. And then other brands, it's somewhere in the middle, but it's normally 60 to 65 plus, 2 to 3XL males and females.
Yeah, 2XL's been big for me too, for sure. XL and 2XL, but I think the rest, I do sell a lot of 3, 4, and 5XL. I will say if you're going to do that in your own stores, I would flip from the 64,000 because they go up, even the 64,000 goes up to a 6XL if you believe it or not. But In terms of print on demand, I think in Printify you can now go up to Monster Digital and SwiftPod both offer up to 5XL for the 64,000. I would not use it only because that soft style cotton shrinks a lot more, and if you're going to be using a shirt of that magnitude, any kind of amount of shrinkage you can mitigate is going to be in your best interest. So for those extra large sizes, I would flip and just substitute with a Gildan 5000. It's a more robust shirt and it'll shrink a lot less. But I do sell a significant amount to say that it's enough that I wouldn't pull it. I wouldn't pull the SKU. I'd definitely do that, but only offer at the same time, popular colors that many. So like your black, your navy, your heather gray, and then maybe a dark heather, a sport gray and a dark heather, just to make sure that multiple printers have them.
Yeah, I was checking Amazon. I know this is a different topic, but Amazon goes all the way up to 6XL. I had no idea. So.
Yeah, they added a lot now too, right? They added some heather sapphires and like the crazy colors, and yeah,
and tall shirts too. They do. I don't know. When you look at their drop down, it has all kinds of different sizes. 2X tall, XL. Yeah, cool.
Mario asks, "Hi all. Now that Canva's bought Leonardo, do any of you have evidence that AI shirts outsell the usual types of shirts? For example, text only, text plus graphic on Amazon. Seems like a lot of hype."
At least on mine, I don't see that it's outselling it. It's just a quicker way to make designs that are already designing. So instead of me drawing it for myself, I can save some time with AI drawing it. So I'm getting the same amount of sales that I do. It's not, and I think what a lot of people are doing, and when they think AI, they think I'm gonna just print AI, remove the background, put it on a t-shirt and go. And that's not really what I'm doing. I'm using AI for a graphic and then kind of still building my design. So it's not as easy as, I mean, it still saves me a little bit of time, but I'm still designing. It's not click, 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 and I have another design, and click, 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 I have another design. So I'm not using AI in that way.
Yeah.
I think if it's a great design, people are going to buy it, whether it's AI or not. It's how can you use the tool properly to create a design that people like? Is there evidence of AI shirts outselling typical shirts? If you look at the marketplaces, the top sellers are still mainly like traditional designs. But that's to be expected. I mean, they've been around for ages, most of those. And that's still, I would say, the overall going way of creating designs. AI is still new. But that's not to say that we haven't sold AI designs. Like I'm sure all of us have at some point.
Yeah. And to your point, sorry, I was just going to say, to your point, people can't tell the difference. So you wouldn't know just by looking at the top sellers if it was done by AI or not. So.
Yeah, and I think using AI doesn't negate the fact that you still need to know how to, like, what the composition, balance, and hierarchy and contrast, like the design fundamentals, right? Like using AI doesn't alleviate that for you. It's not just like take this result and throw it on a shirt and hope it works, right? If you can, manipulate certain elements, or like to Juna's point, use the design and then lay out the text yourself or something, like even if you're using the Kittles of the world or Illustrator or something like that. I think it's knowing how, or what makes a good design is going to be what ultimately seals the deal for you, right? I think what AI is doing is just making it a lot faster to come out with some really cool illustration elements for sure, that I think you'd be nuts almost to not want to leverage if you're doing text and image based. But at the same time, my text-based shirts have, and I believe will always outsell anything else. Like if you're first to market with a text-based design, it doesn't need anything else, right? It's just with a new idea or a funny slogan or a funny saying, that'll outdo anything, right? With a font that makes sense for the niche. Simple.
It is one of the most popular styles. If you look at the top sellers, like it's always tons of simple text stuff.
Can I say one more thing? I think a lot of new people coming to print on demand want to kind of cheat the system by pushing so many designs onto it and think that's going to work. Like, I'm going to just use AI, or I'm going to do Scale Designer, I'm going to do this and just push thousands of designs really quickly onto whatever print-on-demand platform you're using. And that's really not what you should be doing. What was mentioned before is create something that people want to buy, right? It's not about a rush of adding thousands and thousands of designs. As we learned on here, everybody's saying you need to create something that people want to buy and put that on. And whether it's with AI or text or whatever, it's not about trying to, like, because we hear that a lot on YouTube and other places that, you know, it's a numbers game, so put thousands and thousands of, but it's not really true. It's a numbers game if you have the right kind of designs, but if you don't, then you're not going to get any sales. So don't try and cheat the system.
Yeah, the time that I think that it is a numbers game is this is to your point, actually, Gina, is when the volume helps you improve your quality.
Right.
And there's a great like study that I heard this from Hermosi that I thought was like beautifully described this. And it was a professor, a sculpting professor, split a class at the beginning of the semester into 2 groups. And he told group 1 that you guys are just going to make the perfect jar. By the end of the semester, it has to be the best one, but you're only going to make 1. Then he told group 2, I want you to make as many jars as humanly possible. No other rules, but you're making a jar. It's got to look generally like that.
Oops.
Oh, we lost Chris,
Uh-oh.
I think.
I know this story, but hopefully he comes back. I think to his point, though, is you're testing. As you're doing it, he's getting better and better by making more and more jars. And so at the end of it, you actually create something really good by doing it. But I think, yeah, we have to learn as we go instead of just like, I'm just going to keep pushing whatever. I think by doing lots of designs and learning as you go is a great way to do it.
Yeah, for sure. The advantage of quantity for sure is that you're going to get better of all the facets involved. You're going to get better at using the tools, creating designs faster, making the desired result a lot faster than iteration number 1, right? By the time you've done your 100th, you're going to be so much more efficient and better at it. It doesn't mean you're going to make better designs, but you're going to be way faster at the process. Yeah. Oh, I thought we had him back there, but yeah.
And you could get better designs eventually, right? Like as you learn and go in it and you get better over time. I'm just worried about the person that wants to get on print on demand and use AI and just do this really quickly and push thousands and thousands of designs on print on demand and they think that that's going to get them sales, and that's
a retro sunset, and let's put 500 occupations on top of it and only change the word and hope it works, right? Like when there's already 10,000 others out there that you'll never.
Or worse than that, just using AI and just cranking out designs and putting it on there without any clue of what sells or what does. They just want to automate everything, and that's not the way to do it.
Well, to that point, I would say like maybe take a page out of Mike's book and just start selling the designs, right? If you're going to be cranking that out.
That's true. Yeah, that's
super smart. But yeah.
Right, we'll do a few more questions and then we'll
start doing on Creative Fabrica too.
Nice.
I got.
How's that?
Oh yeah, that was in your report, wasn't it?
I had my best. I had my best month. I did over.
Man, how much?
$100. Nice. 100. Hey, it's more than Redbubble and TeePublic, so that makes.
Wow, I gotta try it. Man, we gotta talk. I got so many AI designs that I don't use because I only use 1 out of the 10 that I crank out. So I have tons.
Yeah, you would crush it. For all you guys,
you should resell those. It's a good idea. So we'll go through a few more questions. There is loads of good questions. I'm sorry if we can't go through all of them, but we are going to do the shop reviews next. So again, the document is there. We'll post it again in the chat. We've got a few shops ready for that. There we go. Chris is back. Different camera angle.
My computer just completely died.
Oh man, that was a great story too. I wish we tried to finish it for you.
Yeah, we lost you at the. So people were building the perfect jar, and then the other group was tasked with building as many jars.
Yeah, and at the end of the semester, it had the group that was tasked with making as many jars as possible. Not only had the most by far, obviously, but they also had the best jars. And the moral of the story is that there's certain things that you will learn and proficiencies that you will build that you by doing volume that you could just never do by sitting there and saying, I'm going to make this thing as great as possible. It's kind of like YouTube in a way. I'm sure you guys have experienced this too. Like you learn a lot more from doing, and this is Mr. Beast's advice. He's like, do 100 videos and improve something like 5% every time. Don't sit there and put that same amount of effort into just one video, because it's not going to be as good as if you just do like the volume.
Yeah,
I love that story as well. I did a strange one before about trademarks. I recently found that someone has trademarked the words "I am." Had to take one design down for that.
I don't know the trademark rules. In US, it gets ridiculous. It's
obviously, this is no legal advice, but you probably don't have to take down designs that say "I am," even if that is trademarked, because it's not enforceable.
That's the question there. Did you feel like you had to, or did you have a design taken down for that? And do you have the proof that it was for the word "I am"? Like, if you're literally using the word in a way that it could be confusingly similar to their brand, again, not legal advice here, just experience, then you could potentially be infringing. But if it's not looking like, if you're not creating any brand confusion at the end of the day, is ultimately whether or not, you should be worried about towing those lines. Just having it as part of a phrase on a shirt is technically and legally ornamental use. It's not necessarily that you're going to be infringing on somebody's brand. So, I would make sure you reach out to a lawyer about that if you had something taken down and it was a moneymaker. Protect your investment.
I did find it. The trademark is actually live. Class 25. It's got T-shirts in the goods.
Is it registered?
It is registered, yes, since 2010. But with these kind of ones, like even on Amazon, I'm pretty sure you're not going to get a design taken down for that, unless you're specifically trying to copy the brand "I am," if it exists. If you're using it in a phrase, no, those kind of like very, very common words are typically fine. Right, what else do we have? It's something about colors. Slipstream 01. What are top must-have colors to sell on Etsy POD? Black. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I usually go for black.
We're all wearing dark shirts right now. So that's
navy, gray.
That's it. Black, navy, dark heather. Those are the top three for me of all time.
Yeah.
Depends on the niche, I'm sure, but
somebody just shared am I able to share my screen? Somebody shared a cool graphic.
Yeah,
cool.
Go for it. Can you share the screen, or
we get data in this one?
Let's see.
Oh,
watch my computer just crashes again.
Whoa, black by far.
Yeah,
nice.
This was from an article that somebody shared. It's like black, like not even close.
Dark gray, dark brown.
This is obviously they asked Amazon. Yeah.
This is Amazon.
Very similar. It will be similar on Etsy. I feel like there's a bit more of a market on Etsy for the what's it called, sand or beige or whatever. Those light colors, but the majority, I'm sure, is still going to be black.
You know what's interesting is Amazon. Before you had to pick 10 colors, and now you can just pick whatever color they want. That works. You don't have a limit of 10 colors anymore. So.
Oh, I didn't even know.
That's
I can share here really quickly too, and I pretty much have the same. Let me just make sure here. Share screen.
Yeah, I'll just say I won't sleep on white though on Merch by Amazon. I get a lot of sales in the white color because pretty much everybody's just designing for black, but I feel like there's also a market for white as well.
Yeah.
Can you guys see that now?
I have to add it if you're ready.
Okay, yeah, go for it. So 55%, so 55,000 shirts I've sold black, and then the next closest was navy at 10,000, and then dark heather at 9,500 ish, and then it trickles on that way. So
yeah, nice.
That's it.
Oh, it's cool to get some examples.
Is this for your all-time sales?
That's all time on merch. That's just merch, but Etsy is similar. I don't even offer most of the other colors.
I have a little different one. Mine's 27% black and 10% white and 10% heather.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't offer white on a lot, so that would make.
My second best-selling color on merch is white.
Mm-hmm. Me too, but that's because I always do a design that works on dark colors and a design that works on white colors whenever I do designs.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah, but best-selling.
Smart. More work means I'll have to make more designs.
Double the work.
Well, I got so many slots.
one last question, then we'll go into the shop review. So, what about social media, YouTube, TikTok for ads? So you want to test it, like YouTube and TikTok for POD?
No,
not really. But so this is not really POD, but for my Shopify sales, when I do digital downloads, because it's geared towards my shop, my YouTube shop, like my YouTube channel is for people who want to learn how to design and sell t-shirts online. So I can put my Shopify shop underneath. I think I get like 5 slots underneath my videos, and they're digital downloads that can help people with print on demand, and those get sales because they're relevant, right, to my audience. So those get a lot, do really well. So not t-shirts, but I guess you could spin it with t-shirts if you're doing t-shirts and then put it down there, but I haven't tested t-shirts at all.
Yeah, the 80-20 principle for us is we do vast majority Facebook ad. That's for the cold traffic. And I've tested everything. I've wanted so badly to stop giving Zuck money and just for something else to work. Facebook just has always been the best. So that's for cold traffic. And then for retargeting, that's where we use Google and YouTube. If you just do Performance Max, it's a new product they have for advertising. Very, very simple to set up. You literally click a button, retargets all the traffic on your site. It's awesome. And that goes across Google and YouTube.
That's amazing.
And then we just do email and then Google search for retargeting. So basically, if somebody comes to historytees.com and then they leave and then they tell their friend, hey, you should check out this site, History Tees. If we're a new site, we don't have any SEO. So we just pay a super tiny budget, $5 a day for basically paid SEO, so that when people search for our brand name, they're going to see us at the very top. But yeah, Facebook and then Performance Max, that's you can get really, really far with just those two.
That's amazing. I gotta try
this. It is amazing.
I know Printify has an integration with TikTok that if I haven't tried it yet, but I've seen it around on YouTube's. That I guess what happens is you can sell straight from TikTok to Printify shop. So
we're setting that up right now. So
nice.
Next time we have the council, I'll let you guys know how it goes.
All right, yeah, tell us how it goes.
Looking forward to hearing or seeing any kind of results that way. I'm Canadian, and I'm living in Belize, so it's been hard to get a US-based shop approved by TikTok, even though I keep getting their emails from my .coms and different things saying we want you to open a TikTok shop, right? So then when I go through the motions, I get denied or declined or some new roadblock put up. But it sounds like, just watching people, make one friggin' little reel or video, and then they're selling 20 or 30 shirts a day, perpetually, right? Upwards of 100 plus. I'm salivating looking at those numbers sometimes. So, excited to hear what happens.
Yeah, I'll keep you guys posted.
Nice.
Yeah,
thanks,
definitely. By the way, I've started doing polls as well in the live chat. In case anyone's not watching the chat, just asked about which are your best platforms. You can only put 4 options, unfortunately. So I've put Amazon Merch, Etsy, Shopify, and Redbubble. Currently, Amazon Merch is leading.
Wow.
With 60.
Which is why a lot of people want to get onto Amazon. Makes sense.
Yeah. Shopify 0%, but I don't do any Shopify content, so that might be why.
Yeah, the audience is different.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the shop reviews. We have got a few.
Nice.
A few that have been submitted. I just need to find the windows. Right.
Can I just say that this has been a crap load of fun? This has been, it's nice to, mesh heads, get some different perspectives. We're all doing our own thing, and it's just a testament that there's more than one way to win, right?
Yeah, we got to do this in real life. This would be awesome.
Oh, dude, yeah. Come down to visit Mike in Mexico or me in Belize, man.
Nice.
Get out of your if you guys are anywhere near where there's cold weather. But
yeah, maybe in the winter. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Right. So, shop number 1. We've got Southern Monkey Com. These are all, I think they're all Etsy shops that have been submitted. You can submit a TeePublic as well, or a Shopify store if you want. This is graphic t-shirts at an affordable price. gonna have 1,000 sales. Looks like 5-star average.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So this first bit, what do we think?
I think, and I don't know if it always shows, but your designs are getting cut off in the banner there, so I can't tell exactly what you're selling.
Like the banner is difficult, I think, to work out what's going on.
I would say, it sets a precedent, right, for like what your customers want to know, that you care about them. And if you're, you start setting a precedent, so either don't have a banner or do it properly, because it's just saying that you're kind of either half-assing it, or you're, potentially not going to be doing things that make sense, or, putting your customers first. That way you want to showcase what you're doing.
I think the designs in the banner, that's a good concept. And I think we had an example last time where someone executed that very well. But yeah, in this case, I would just remove it for now and then work on like a new version.
Yeah, it has to scale better. If it's scaling and that's the problem, then you need to figure out how it scales better. So
got specs here for the announcement. For the Bella canvas, so I'm guessing that's probably the product they're selling. Yeah, we've got lots of t-shirts. We've got the categories here on the left to filter through. First impressions, anyone?
Niche down and zoom in on your product mockups. Try to make something more unique. If you're going to have to click on a design to understand what it is, your conversion rate is going to drop. And even if you are lucky enough to show up in search results, then Etsy's going to stop showing your stuff if it doesn't convert. So you'll fast track your way to the bottom. So I would at least zoom in on those ones, especially that have like a ton of info. And then worse, if you're paying for the ad, right? If you're paying for an ad now, you're paying for those clicks to kill your conversion rate.
Yeah.
Like this one is a good example, or the one above. You can't really tell what it is, even on a computer. So it'll be even harder on a phone to read this. So a lot of people will click, read, potentially it's not what they expected, and then click off.
I think it's more important to show the design rather than the full shirt, because people know what a shirt kind of looks like. You don't need to show the full thing, but you can zoom in on the design. That would help.
Curious, Chris, your take on the Shopify end. Have you found a difference or a system that works like that way, like showcasing the entire article or zooming in on the design?
Yeah, first, I just want to say I think it's so poetic how the one non-Etsy seller is covered by the shop review text right now. I love that.
StreamYard did that.
Oh no, he moved it.
Oh, there he is.
I'll let you speak and then I'll hide you again.
we've done it as flat lay. We've tested like lifestyle images, just the design, white background, all of that. For us, flat lay mockup, like a really, really nice flat lay mockup, does extremely well. Like does by far the best. But then what we've also done is the second image, like on hover, which I don't know if that's even an option on Etsy, but on hover switches to just like you're saying, Jay, to just the design file of it. And that works really well. But yeah, flat lay mockups perform by far the best in ads.
When you say flat lay, are there objects around it? Because I've seen some of those flat lays on Etsy where it's the t-shirt, but there's some little accessories and things on it. Or is this what you mean by flat lay?
No, like you want to hop to yogastay.co real quick, Philip?
Oh, nice.
I can
there we
show
go.
The example.
Yoga.
That's a good name.
Thank you.
Tell me how to spell it. Yeah.
YOGASTE.co.
STE.
Also, if anybody's thinking about buying a domain like .com versus .co versus .shop, literally doesn't matter.
Really? You tested that too? That's nice.
Yeah.
.com is usually more expensive, huh?
Yeah, or just not available at all.
Or not available. Yeah.
There you go. So if you scroll down.
Oh, thanks for sharing your shop. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. So it is.
Well, I sold this one. That's why it's getting shared. Click on like if you can zoom in. That's what I mean by like the flat lay.
Yeah, I've seen these on Etsy too. If they do this.
Yeah. So I start off by buying like an example. You can click on like yoga sale. It'll take you to a collection. and those were the mats that nobody bought at first. So the flat lay, it's just really eye-catching, lifelike, realistic, has like supporting objects that don't distract, and it's like a very nuanced thing, like making sure that it adds to the image, it doesn't detract and like just feel cheesy. So like I spent over a week on this one working with designers to get it like down to the little details, like what kind of pattern should we have on the mat, or how far out should the beads be on the pants, like that little stuff.
So did you do a photo shoot, a full photo shoot for this, or is this kind of photoshopped in?
Oh, it's all fake.
Oh, it's all fake. Oh,
cool.
Nice.
Looks good. Nice work.
Good example.
That's great.
I wanted to go back to this as well to get a few to add some stuff. So first of all, I think these mock-ups are not the nicest, and they don't really fit the style of Etsy. They don't have this, what we just looked at, Chris's shop, that kind of lifestyle feel with the background, everything. These like white background, that's a typical Amazon mock-up, I would say. And then the listing SEO can definitely be improved, like this just as leg mode title, which is the most important part. No one that might be interested in this would actually find it with that. You have to think about, why are people on a lake? What are they doing there? And add relevant keywords that those people might search. The description is also quite bare right here. Just some tips that I noticed. There's no sale running either. Yeah. Anyone else got any tips for this person? Otherwise, we'll move on to the next shot.
It's nice that you're showing the different colors, because I think that's cool that you can see what colors are available and they should match whatever's in the drop down. But yeah, as far as the main image, I think we could do a lot better.
Some of these designs are great. Like I think you've got some really good designs. It's polishing the listings and the keywords. That'll probably help you out. And free shipping. We just talked about that at the start of the live stream. Probably change that now that this new model is coming.
I'm curious. I was talking to Starla about this last week. I'm curious to hear you guys' input. When you guys are on Etsy or Merch by Amazon, do you think primarily niche focused first, or do you start and like try to dominate a specific area, whether that's dog lovers, yoga, whatever, or do you start with like keywords and like just you don't care how broad it goes, you just are keyword hunting?
I think data is overrated. I'm niche based for sure, and I can't say overrated. There's an absolute place for it. But when people focus on the search volumes of the keywords rather than the keywords and like the niche based keywords, right? So people will start adding random things just because they're high search volume and low competition. But if it has to make sense, it has to make, like, there has to be cohesion there. That's my take on Amazon and on Etsy. Like anywhere, I mean, like look at yourself, right? You're building and selling niche based shops. They're not, you're not trying to build general stores that will take you 8 times as long with 10 times the listings in order to even, end up at the same kind of, bottom line. That's just my take. It's always been niche based. It's way less work. Like I said, I got 4 Etsy shops. I don't think I've crossed the 1,000 listing cumulatively, and they work, right? Just my take, though.
Got it. Thanks.
That's awesome.
What about anybody else? What are you guys? General store people or niche based?
Both.
I do both.
Yeah.
Both.
For me, it's definitely been the case that I started off with general, and then created niche stores based on what was working best on Etsy. I've still got a testing store where I just kind of put anything. But yeah, if you found a niche that's working good for you, it does make sense creating a separate store, I would say, to focus in on that. But yeah, shop number 2. This one's about digital downloads. So we've got seamless patterns, clip art, wall art, Tumblr wraps. First of all, the banner and everything. I think it's definitely a better start than the other store.
Yeah, if they can make seamless pattern just a little bit bigger, I think that would be nice.
Yeah. And wall art is a bit hard to read.
Yeah, make that readable and larger.
Yeah.
And then maybe raise their prices. It looks like they're only selling $1. It's gonna be hard to make any money like that.
Doesn't have a sale either. I would run a sale on, especially on digital products. You can run quite a large sale, can't you? High percentage. You can price these very high. Looks better in search. Don't see any.
The mock-ups look pretty good. The mock-ups.
Yeah.
Just, maybe raise the prices.
Oh, these look quite cool.
Yeah. One thing I would just say, looking at your shop sections there, like respect your customer's time. You've got 8 seconds before they bounce on the page, 3 seconds they've already decided what they're going to add to cart, give or take. I think probably even less now. Those are old stats, but Chris would probably know the stats off the top of his head. But that said, your shop sections, if you have to force a customer to click an extra click just to go to a t-shirt kid design and there's only 2 there, like, respect their time, give them more. So I would condense those shop sections down to maybe 10 or 5 even, until you've built out enough in those shop sections that it makes sense to break it up before it becomes overwhelming.
Yeah, good point. There's definitely too much choice here, and it's not very clear. It's meant to help the customer aid their journey, isn't it? But it kind of makes it more confusing almost.
Yeah, like niche-based sections as opposed to product-based. So you've got Halloween there or whatever, or the product base, but put all those t-shirt ones together maybe, at least until you've blown up the shop.
All right, what are we thinking about this listing? Let's see. We've got a video.
That's good.
Slideshow. That's good. Some cool mock-ups in this. Nice pattern as well, in my opinion. Looks nice.
Good job with the photos.
Happy Cake Day, seamless pattern. Yeah, that looks like a decent title to me. Maybe some of the not product types, the file types. You could maybe have that in there as well somewhere.
Yeah. It's nice to see what you can use it on, because I think if it didn't have those extra pieces, the person buying it may not know exactly what you could put this on. But
yeah, good point. I think these listings look great. Go back to this. So, guessing it's a fairly new shop, 52 sales. But yeah, I think you're going in the right direction in a lot of ways. Definitely run a sale, higher prices, tidy up this section a bit. Yeah, cool. Anyone got any last words on this? If not, I've got one more POD shop.
All right.
All right, I'll start showing that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
cool.
That's good. I like that photo right away. You know what that shop is selling because you can see the t-shirts.
T-shirts. So the other one that we saw before this was a nice one, but this one actually says you can visually see that you're selling t-shirts, where the other one was more like a lot more vague. Yeah.
It looks like a professional photo as well. I'm guessing it's a stock photo, but obviously a customer won't know that. So it looks pretty good.
What about the
I was gonna guess it was AI. The only thing that stands out to me though is that you say urban treasure tees and it looks like something you'd see in cottage country. So I would maybe consider that. It just seems conflicting a little, but the image looks beautiful.
Right. We've got lots of t-shirts.
I would just enlarge a little bit more the thumbnails. Well, no, it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I just want to make it easy for people to see the design.
Yeah. On these, it's a bit better that the women, they're a bit more zoomed in than the men. But yeah, these models are quite cool.
I like putting a nice branded logo that fits well and adds to it. And it's not overpowering. They have I think that's their logo there. But personally, I wouldn't put the big red free shipping something. And the logo being done, it can either add to it and make it feel branded and unique, or it can make it feel tacky.
Yeah. One thing I will say that, to Chris's point about in Photoshop or Shopify, where you can hover and have that secondary image zoom so you can see the design, you can create videos in Etsy So you can upload videos to your listing, and you can use Canva or the different things. You can even create in Canva. You can, I think, have a bunch of slides that they just kind of cycle like a GIF. So you can have your second image being a zoom in of that design. So a lot of these are, quite detailed. To Mike's point about zooming in a little bit more on some of the designs, at least if you had a video there that you would auto scroll, then you can leverage that to at least showcase the design.
Video slideshow.
Nice. It's a nice design too.
Oops.
That one.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, that was interesting. The free shipping by itself.
Yeah. I wonder if that was intentional or not. I mean, I guess it helps the customer. I've never seen that in a video. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that design though, for sure.
Yeah, good design, good niche. The feral niche is pretty popular right now.
I would say, can we go back to the homepage?
Yeah.
I don't know how important this is because I'm not on Etsy as much, but when I was on Etsy, I would like stagger the different mock-ups. So on the very first top, it just looks like same mock-up with different designs. I don't know what you guys think, but it just feels like it feels like it's cheaper when I see that, because I'm like, oh, they just slapped it on the same model every time.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to. I would kind of vary that if you can go in there and kind of move things around. Maybe put a woman one in there and then the other man, like, so it's not the same mock-up one after the other.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think as long as they have the same or similar style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you're, using your featured items, 2 out of 4 are for Pi Day shirts. So you're either way early or way behind. So like, try to stay relevant that way and do everything intentionally.
Now, I don't know if there's like an Etsy best practice or not, but I'll just mention it again. Flat lay mockups for us have always outperformed lifestyle images.
Yeah. I try to avoid using people. Just flat lay is the best for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my first image is a flat lay for the most part. I found it to be a little bit niche based. So like one store does a little bit better with the lifestyle mockups, which is what you're seeing, the ones with people wearing the shirt. But for the most part, it's been flat lay first, then lifestyle second, and then maybe a zoom in on an angle of part of the design, showcasing, a heather in the blank or something. And then by the 3rd or 4th picture, though, I tried to put informational stuff there, like, either a size chart or a color chart, so that you're playing to people's attention spans, right? Nobody's going to cycle through 10 listing photos. That's just, I think, the nuts and bolts of it. But at least I know I don't. But it seems to have worked that way. I'd agree with Chris there that flat lays probably, for the most part, outperform.
And I think it's like a psychological thing that, like, when it's just a flat lay of the mock-up that looks really nice, it's much easier for people to picture themselves wearing it. Whereas, like, if I don't look like this girl, which I don't, then it's much harder for me to picture myself being, like, in that shirt. Whereas if you have like a very specific customer avatar, like Into the AM is a great example of this, where they have like a very particular avatar they're going after, where it's easy for people to like picture themselves being that person or gal that they're showing. But I think maybe for us, like, we've seen most success with flat lays because ours is like a broad range of people and age groups and sizes, predominantly 60, 65 plus 2 and 3 XLers, but it's my 2 cents.
Very cool.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's I think you can lead your customer to that way, for good and better or for worse. If you can't identify with the image, then you're going to be less likely to buy it because you can't envision, to your point, yourself wearing it. But also I found that the power of suggestion, in that typically the color that I have as the first image is the color of shirt they actually order as well, whether or not, they know they're doing that.
Okay, thanks a lot for submitting your shops.
That's fun.
Hope the advice helps. One last thing on that shop, I think it was quite heavy on trends. Trends that don't last very long. That goes back to a point earlier. For more sustainable income, it would be better to throw in some evergreen as well. Right, what is next? I think, niche ideas. Does anyone have niche ideas to share? Anything that's been working for them? Anything new? I didn't do any research, so I've got to drop out this week.
No, but Halloween is coming. I said this before, but we're not that far from Halloween, so I'm back to
Costumes.
school and back
Try
to
and
school
combine it with bra.
with bra. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Halloween, bra, or something. I
All
don't
with
know.
politics.
Give me candy, bra. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
any niche can be a cash cow if you know it and it's big enough. I've never been, again, it's going to be differing perspectives here, but I've never gone after, the micro niches. I feel like that's almost like a waste of time. Like my two biggest niches of all time are cats and tacos, and I'll hammer that all day. It's endless amounts, right? So yeah,
That's true.
but you're going to want to, put some ad dollars behind that if you're getting into the competition to that degree. But yeah, for me, it's just go big.
Oh,
Have you tried the childish cat lady niche? Since you mentioned cats, that's a good trending one. It's a political
childish cat lady. Not yet. Oh, it's a political one. Okay.
Childless, yeah, like a Kamala trend.
Yeah, I've been doing pretty well in that niche, and I've been niching it down by doing childish dog ladies as well too. So those are a couple niches that I have that are trending.
Nice.
I can say where I think there's a huge opportunity right now, which I would love to see some newcomers come in and crush with personalized apparel on Shopify. It is, and the reason I think that is that it's a pretty good rule of thumb that if there's a niche that's doing really well on Etsy or Merch by Amazon, just that same kind of niche, but on Shopify does extremely well. Like that's been the founding principle for every brand that I've done. The reason being is that there's clearly Etsy and Merch by Amazon validates that there's a ton of demand and whatever that thumbs up, man. That there's
oh, happy birthday!
Yeah, it's got a whole bunch of them. There we go. But yeah, so like Etsy Merch by Amazon shows that there's demand for it, and then if you take that principle of like, okay, people are clearly very interested in yoga stuff, whatever the niche is. If it's very popular there, I know that those same people that shop on Etsy, they also have Facebook accounts. Literally everybody has a Facebook account. And on Facebook, unlike Etsy and Merch by Amazon, like we're not competing with anybody, which is the nice thing. But the other nice thing is that especially if anybody watching this has like been followers of all of these guys' YouTube channels, the biggest skill set that they teach is about the design aspect. And that is by far the most important skill set on Shopify as well. Shopify versus Etsy, it's just like a different distribution model. So if you guys have been following like all these awesome guys with their design tips, it's like the same thing applies. And I tell everybody who's selling on Shopify, learn to like check the boxes, set up your Shopify store, similar to how you guys talk about like Etsy shop setup, like Etsy SEO, check the boxes, follow the best practices. But then the biggest X factor by far is the niche you're serving and the quality of the designs you're putting out. Same exact thing applies. So much of the like help that I try to give to students on Shopify side is like, get out of the ad account, get out of like your Shopify and like just focus on making great designs that people love. And like the rest honestly takes care of itself. So there's like a lot more crossover, I think, than a lot of people might realize. But more of this, my secret niche is pretty much any niche that you see working well on Etsy or Amazon, huge opportunity. And one of the biggest gaps that I've seen in so far as like Etsy demand for a product type is like massive demand, like you guys know, for customization, personalized products. I see very, very, very few stores doing that on Shopify. There are some that are doing well, but like I think there's a massive difference there.
I think that's partly because it's the barrier to entry, right? So if the barrier to entry is a little bit more difficult, then 90% of the people out there are just going to be chasing a low-hanging fruit and they're not going to get into it. So if you can get into something like that, that's a little more difficult. It's going to take a little bit more time to figure out the nuances and maybe even automating some of the stuff. Like there's apps out there like Hello Custom now, things like that. It's going to be worth your time, and the fruits of your labors are going to pan out, like to Chris's point. Like he sees the opportunity, trust him in that, right? And then to say what you were saying with the design element, man, I appreciate you echoing that sentiment, because the bulk of us here are, design based in our approach. And it goes back to, the conversation you said you had with Starla about, the keywords and the data versus niche based and stuff like that. I think honestly, any niche will sell if you know it enough and can make a design that's in demand for that niche. So you can have all the best SEO on the planet, but if the design is crap, it's still not going to sell. Conversely, if that design has terrible SEO, but it happens to cross the right eyes, somebody's going to buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And a great place to start for me to make it something that's super sustainable. And like Philip said at the beginning, like he loves doing AI designs and like he's like enjoys the process. I think that's so key, is doing something that you really genuinely love. And that just starts with picking a niche with something that you're interested in. So where I recommend everybody start is write down a list of 10 hobbies or interests or passions that you personally have. And if you're somebody who's like, I don't have any interests, I'm boring. Yes, you do. Like, do you like drinking coffee? Do you like going to the beach? Like there, write all those down, and then take those and run it through the bumper sticker or tattoo test. A picture, like, have you ever seen a bumper sticker on the back of the car about that? Then that's normally a good place to start, because if somebody's on a bumper sticker, they probably wear it on their shirt as well. But start with something you're passionate about. And like my dad loves history, not past tense. So that's why it was super fun for him. It was sustainable. If I told him to go after like flowers or something, he would have gotten burned out in like 2 months.
We're AI generated.
Yeah, we're
no, this isn't
AI
real
models.
Yeah, tons of good advice there, man. Yeah, definitely start with a niche that you know something about. And yeah, you know, to your point when you say, Chris, do you drink coffee? Because start there. So many people are like, oh, well, that's too broad a niche. There's so much competition. Well, you know, competition is. Do you want to own the pie that is this big, like the size of a hockey puck, is the analogy I say, or do you want, you know, you can make so much more money with a small sliver of a giant pie, like coffee drinkers, right? There's enough room for everybody. You just got to put a unique spin on it, like we talked earlier. Bring in a trending aesthetic to an old idea. You don't even have to reinvent the wheel. Just kind of maybe a different font choice that's trending. Colors, think seasonally, right? There's so many ways you can reinvent or revive old ideas if you don't even, can't think of anything on yourself. Otherwise, Chat GPT is great for that, right? Funny slogans that are sayings, phrases that you can put on a shirt. And honestly, just get used to text-based designs. Start there. Like it doesn't have to be more difficult than that. That would be my biggest takeaway, I think.
Someone just asked a question. I just want to give them a tip. So it's about what works better, images, quotes, or slogans. I'm kind of in between, but the niche is Formula One drivers and teams. I would just completely stay away from the niche.
Way too small
and
specific.
And copyrighted.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. I mean, even if you could do it safely, you have to know the ins and outs to. Otherwise, you're going to be looked at as an imposter, and it just won't fly.
They're all advertised. Nice.
Okay.
But yeah, I would test whatever niche is. Figure out what works, the text or the graphics, and put out both and see what happens.
Yeah, some niches are going to need to get more graphics in them. Others just work with simple stuff. It depends. You never know until you tested it. Like I wouldn't just rely on YouTube's opinion. Test it yourself. That's what we do most of the time as well. It's just testing. Like I don't feel like I've started testing yet. Same goes for anyone watching. So let's move on to some personal questions then.
Oh, nice.
We've got some fun ones this week. Starting off with favorite bands or musicians.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Let's go with you, Juno.
I usually just like whatever's on the radio, like the pop. I usually listen to pop radio, so
all right.
Like Maroon 5, Taylor Swift, whatever.
Taylor Swift, really? That's good.
If it's on the radio, I don't have a playlist while I'm listening. I have a hard time listening to music and doing Print on Demand at the same time, so I don't really listen to that much
driving,
music. But when I'm driving, the radio's on, and I listen to whatever's playing on the radio. So whatever.
Go-to band that you love? Or,
Maroon 5's great, but they haven't come out with anything in a long time. But
what?
Yeah,
say that again.
Bruno Mars is good, but I like his older stuff. So.
Go ahead, Jay.
No, go on, Mike.
Well, for me, I'm a lifelong reggae and dancehall fan, so music from Jamaica. Grew up in Northern California, and we used to smoke a lot of weed and listen to reggae growing up. But so yeah, don't smoke weed anymore, but still a big reggae fan.
Cool.
Nice.
Any bands or musicians specifically, or just anything reggae?
Vibes Cartel is my favorite.
Vibes Cartel. Never heard of it.
That's very niche.
I love Linkin Park. Anyone like Linkin Park? Especially the old stuff. I feel like I always go through different bands and musicians, but I always find myself going back to Linkin Park, and I always enjoy. Like you kind of, I feel like with a lot of bands, you have like one or two songs that you like a lot, but for Linkin Park, with me, it's like I can listen to 2 or 3 albums without skipping anything.
I was looking forward to Aerosmith is coming. I live in Austin, Texas, and they were coming here on their like final farewell tour. We just found out last night that they canceled the tour. Steven Tyler has had like vocal cord issues. I mean, they've been crushing it for decades. So
they're getting older.
They're not coming here anymore. But during work, I just listen to Brain FM. I don't know if you guys have ever tried that, but I honestly love it. It's like binaural beats, some fancy science word. It just helps me like focus a lot. And it's like not like you said, Juna, like not really listening to music. It's like it's designed to get you to focus and like not distract you.
Nice. I'll have to look it up. Brain FM.
What about you,
I don't know how I can't listen to music when I work unless I might try this, Brain FM type thing, but I need to have silence to focus. My wife, on the other hand, loves like music just cranked and like gets into a groove and all that stuff. I feel like if I'm doing mindless work, I can do that and it helps. But if I'm doing something where I need to think, I need the clarity. I've been old school through and through. So initially it was old school hip hop is what I grew up on. But I like old school rock too. To your point, your soca, like Supercat was one of my favorites. Late 80s, early 90s. The 90s for me, 80s to 90s has been the golden era of hip hop. I think rock is great. The crossover, man, like I wouldn't have heard of Aerosmith if it wasn't for Run DMC. I wouldn't have heard of Iron Maiden if it wasn't for Public Enemy, or Anthrax if it was Public Enemy. Jazzy hip hop too. Big Old Planets, De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest. Beastie Boys, Rage Against the Machine, like a lot of the crossover stuff. I think it was kind of life changing for me because it filled a void that I felt like I could transcend. Then as you get older, you mellow out a little bit more. I love Bob Marley. I wish I could have seen Jimi Hendrix, Bob Marley, a few guys like that live. Lots of awesome bands. I just like music now. The one thing I guess genre I like the least would be probably country, just because I don't get it.
Just as I pop up this comment.
But Sublime, going back to your West Coast stuff there, Mike. For me, all the '90s stuff for sure. Sublime was a big one. And then you're branching off into ska now, like Rancid and a few others. Queen, great band, love them. You know what I mean? I think I've learned to like good music. I've learned what good music is, and the composition and. Yeah.
Nice.
Good one.
All over the place.
Most important question.
Cereal first and milk first. I put cereal first, then put the milk in.
First. I saw that question. I was like, who puts milk first?
I don't know.
Not I.
Well, apparently when you Google it, everyone says you should put the milk first. That's the right way to do it. I'm like, no. What?
Oh, yeah?
What?
I never knew.
I never do it.
Growing up, if it was cereal I liked, it was cereal and then too much milk on purpose so that I could have more cereal because I wasn't allowed to waste. So we weren't allowed to waste the milk. So you add more until you're finally dad realized it's a trick to eat everything. But now I don't eat cereal. It's just coffee in the morning for me.
All right. I'll do a poll in the chat as well for everyone. Cereal.
What are you guys? Are you guys all cereal first?
Cereal first, yeah.
Yeah. If I eat it, cereal first.
Right.
It's been a while.
If milk gets anything more than 0%, I'm quitting YouTube.
I'm clicking milk right now.
Right. So we've got that one. Favorite drink?
Oh, yeah. I have this caffeine water that I drink.
Like, can I highlight you?
Caffeine water.
Zoom in on you or something?
It doesn't taste good. I do it for the caffeine and the 0 calories. So
if anybody puts milk in first, I think it'd be somebody who drinks caffeinated water.
Yeah.
Yeah, coffee for me.
Yeah, the last thing I need is more caffeine. I tried to supplement, right? So I refill this bottle over and over and over, and then I drink coffee.
Well, see, yeah, I don't drink coffee, so this is I guess it's my coffee. So.
Mm-hmm. I don't drink coffee either. Never have.
It's because you don't use a Mac. That's probably why.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, we should do a poll about that as well. What do you prefer, Apple or Windows? We got that last time on the live stream. I don't really have a favorite drink as such. I've never really thought about it much, but I mainly just drink water, milk,
water, or caffeinated water.
Second, if I drink alcohol, I quite like a wheat beer, a German Weiss beer. Anyone's ever had that? Don't know if it exists in America. Like a
nice and smooth.
Erdinger, for example. Yeah, very smooth. How about you, Chris?
Drink just water, coffee.
Yeah.
Wow. It's either water, coffee. That's cool.
Or I'll have to give the caffeinated water.
Yeah.
So I can optimize.
It's hard to find. I have to go to a specific store to find this one. So this is in Kroger. You can see Kroger.
Yeah.
Right, and got coffee.
More coffee.
What is that?
Which is also a great niche to do T-shirts for, coffee. So.
Yeah, been mentioned a few times now, for sure.
Fresca,
Vodka.
Nice.
Nobody to smoke first.
Do you guys do boba? Are there boba drinks where you guys are at? It's Asian. And they put no.
They had them
really,
in
no.
in where I used to live in Canada, like near Toronto. Yeah,
it's a big thing here. There's so many around this.
Is that the stuff with the balls, the
whatever, the tapioca pearls in them? Yeah,
tapioca.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It tasted
Asian.
good. I just never got into it.
Yeah.
There's a few here in Mexico.
You like adding that to your t-shirts, don't you, Juna?
Bobas? Yeah.
It's in the corgi design, right?
Right. Yeah, I got a corgi drinking boba, so as well.
Nice.
The famous one. Oh, first person to say tea.
Oh, nice.
Not many bits watching.
Tapioca. There you go. That's it. Tapioca drinks. Boba tea. Bubble tea. Lots of different names.
Is boba?
Boba.
Is it Filipino or is it Japanese? Where's the boba tea?
I think it's Taiwan. I could be wrong. Somebody should tell me.
Taiwanese. Okay.
Soda. Right. And final topic, our question, show and tell. This is suggested by Juna.
All right, I have a show and tell.
So you can start. I need to prepare mine.
I have this giant rubber band ball that I've been making for years. It's pretty big. Look, it's bigger than my head.
Bigger than your head. Wow.
Yeah. So
It's
very heavy.
Are you going to keep adding to it? Or
yeah, I keep adding to it. I go to Office Max every once in a while, get these large rubber bands and add to it. So
how big
does it bounce?
Oh, I bet it does.
It bounces, but it's like 15 pounds, so you don't want to bounce it on a second floor, probably.
You need to watch the recording and freeze frame Juna's face as he came back up, as he realized somebody else was asking a question. He was like, you want to know more about my rubber band ball?
You guys care? That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh man.
You want to count the rubber bands with me? 1,
yeah. 2. That would be a good video. That'd be like a Mr. Beast video from a long time ago.
Some of his early ones are insane. Like, full credit to the guy. Like, I would have gone insane with counting to 1 million.
Yeah.
Nuts.
He dedicated his life to it, though, right? Like, I mean, that's
Has anyone ever watched one of those videos from start to finish?
Nope.
That might actually be crazier than him doing it.
Yeah. Probably. What have we got on the chat? Matcha tea.
Ooh, yeah. Matcha.
Water, lime, and salt.
Ooh, I haven't tried that.
Show your pet. I can show my pet.
I do like coconut water. Oh. Coconut water's on my top.
Show you. Someone say that. Earl Grey.
Where's Milo? Philip, where's your dog?
It's not home. It's not home. Yeah, it's Milo. Milo Notto. It's a split custody situation, so he's not always home. All right, we'll do pets next time. Or has anyone got a pet there? Show and tell. Anyone got another show and tell first of all? Or?
I got my photo. I got a photo of my son and I when I won a MVP in a basketball tournament here in Mexico. So
Nice.
Prize
That's very cool.
Nice.
So that's what motivates me when I don't feel like uploading anymore. I just look at that, keep going for a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Awesome. That's a huge thing too, is remembering your why, right? If the going gets tough, you don't want to burn out because that's a terrible situation to be. Do it sustainably. Just thinking of a Q4 tip here, do it sustainably in a way that you're having fun, like Chris mentioned earlier, and remembering your why, like Mike mentioned. And don't burn yourself out, because if you get burnt out, then it's all lost, right? You're gonna hate everything about it. But yeah, remembering that why, that's awesome.
Thanks.
Sorry to digress there.
No, that's important. Keeps us going.
Important message, yeah. I'll out myself as a nerd. So I've talked about Displate a few times. Do any of you know Displate? Do these metal pulses?
Yes.
They're magnetic.
You got
stick
one.
to the wall. And they do like a limited edition run where they've got different topics. And I got
Star
a
Wars, of
series
course,
them.
right? It's got to be. Yeah.
That's sick.
So that's
Dude.
the
Nice.
Revenge of the Sith.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, you got another one.
That's Attack of the Clones.
That's amazing.
Nice.
Proper nerdy, right?
Hey, no, that's pretty cool.
1,000 of each of these, yeah, it says on the back.
Oh, do you have a number?
Like
Limited edition
sure.
number? Wow. 336 of 1,000. Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So this is the
Oh, that's another one.
Phantom Menace. Yeah, so I've got the 3 in front of me. That's what I'm looking at.
Nice. That's beautiful.
They've got
they
this.
look
The
really
cool
good.
thing about the limited edition ones is, I don't know if you can see it, but they've got like a 3D.
Oh yeah, it's raised.
Yeah.
effect, so it's not just a flat.
Wow.
Different elements are raised.
Amazing.
Also glows in the dark.
Glows
No
in
way.
the dark. That's crazy.
Now we have to do a poll with the chat. Which one do you guys like best? Star Wars,
yeah.
rubber band ball,
Or
Michael
photo.
and his son? I feel like you kind of have to vote for the picture of with
Yeah, that was amazing. It's a
Let's
limited
do it.
edition.
The milk polls ended, and milk second clearly won. Right.
Good stuff.
Cool. Anyone got anything else to say or to show? If not, we'll probably end it in a bit. Any last questions? Favorite YouTuber?
Mm.
Good question.
Hermosi.
Rosie's good.
I
Hermosi's
just went
good.
to his workshop in Vegas last week. It was
Nice.
awesome.
You did? Nice.
It was
I gotta
so
go
good.
to one.
Tell us
Love
more.
his stuff.
It was the highlight, that big takeaway was that the way that they're able to take every different business model, doesn't matter if you're in manufacturing to print on demand to selling info products, they take every business and they distill it down to like a set of basically 5 numbers. And it's doesn't matter. It's like if you're in business, like these 5 numbers apply to you, and it's like distill it down to like what's your acquisition costs, your cost to fulfill. Basically takes things that can be super ambiguous and broad topics and simplifies it down to so much. And then the whole first day is about identifying out of these 5 numbers, where's the number one constraint in your business, and then come up with your 3 action items, like judging yourself off the inputs, not the outputs. Come up with your 3 action items, inputs that you're going to apply to that one area. So like, for example, in print on demand, like growing our brand, it's about like trying to add top 1% of brands, add 7 designs per day. So our input for the next 30 days is coming up with a system that's going to allow us to add 7 new designs per day.
Wow.
Address our main constraint in the business. But yeah, he's just like the Tony Robbins of business. It was
Yeah. Seems like it.
I like listening to Hermosi as well, but also Ali Abdal.
That's what I was
he's
going to
got
say.
cool.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah,
Productivity
watch
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like a combo of the two, right? It's the practicality of Hermosi, and then it's like the mindset stuff that I think is, slept on a lot of that, because as solopreneurs, it gets boring, it gets lonely, for the most part, until you're at a point where Chris is, where you're building a team, which part of part of the action plan you're but until you get to that point, you know, it can get lonely, and that's why these communities are great. That's why these chats are great, right? So yeah, Ali Abdal and Hermosi are two big ones for sure. Otherwise, like, yeah, I don't know.
What about entertainment YouTubers? Nothing to do with business.
For me, the rest of it is like real estate investing overseas, and like, you know, where can I travel to, and where can I, for the next maybe 2 years of my life, in a year from now, where can I go travel? So I do a lot of not just HGTV or anything like that, but like I'll research different places on the planet. I think is kind of where my passion lies that way.
Travel stuff.
There's a travel one that I like called Castaways. It's a young couple from Australia, and they just sail from like different island to island, living off the ocean. I don't know, for some reason I really like watching that channel. Castaways.
Check that out. Will do.
I also like How It Should Have Ended. It's a cartoon one that they every time there's a Hishi, yeah, that's a good one. I love those. Those are so funny. And then I like what are they called? Emergency Awesome did good reviews on movies. So anytime there's a good movie that comes out, he's gonna or TV show, I love his commentary on it. So he's just commenting on different TV shows and movies, and it's great. So
the best Hishi ones are where they point out like plot holes in movies. Yeah. Where it should have ended like 30 seconds in.
Yeah.
Movie. Like Batman versus Superman. It's like fighting, and it's like laser vision.
Boom, done. Honest Trailer's pretty good too. Honest Trailer.
I'll have to make a list of these because I want to check this stuff out. Right.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'll say my favorite sort of entertainment YouTuber, which probably no one will know. It's called JP Performance. It's a German channel. I wonder if anyone watching knows it. So yeah, it's all German content, unfortunately, but it's centered around.
You speak German? Is it in German?
Yeah.
Wow.
I am German.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
No? Yeah, it's fine. No one really recognizes it by the accent. Well, there isn't really an accent, so I get it. But no, I'm German. I speak German.
Wow. I've known you for so long. I didn't know.
Hey, Philip, tell us about your favorite channel in German.
In German, yeah.
No, I want to hear it. Like
you want to hear it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. You'll get a
nice first time.
Ja, JP Performance, viel Auto-Content. Die haben ein Museum und dort aufgebaut, Burgerladen und ja, sehr, sehr cooler Content. Und ich gucke schon seit 10 Jahren ungefähr. Yeah, your call.
Cool. Nice. I've known you for years, and I didn't know you spoke German or were German. That's crazy. I just thought you were from UK or something.
No, I live in the UK, and probably the Germans watching are like, "Oh my god, what's that? Like English accent?" I actually sound English now, but no, I'm from Germany originally.
Wow.
And the funny thing is that YouTuber they've been doing a clothing line for ages. And that's kind of what inspired me to like design my own stuff as well in the beginning.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I owe them a lot.
I do have one. I can't think of his name. The Future, Futur or Futur.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name, but I've been watching him bits and pieces for like 8 years or 7 years now. He's a designer, and he teaches all the things about the concepts and the psychology behind it, like charging what's worth and all that stuff too. Yeah, like knowing how to price, and perceived value isn't a new thing, but he put it in a perspective that was tangible for me and just made absolute sense to like jack those prices way up.
Yeah, good stuff. Nice.
Chris Doe is definitely good. I watched that a lot in the beginning when I was learning like Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, etc. Logo design. I follow their content quite a bit for that. But they did some like good live streams and stuff as well, I think, or like longer episodes, building brands, really cool content. So yeah, great channel for designers.
For sure.
Okay, right. Thanks for everyone who joined us today. It's been a really fun live stream. I can't believe it's been nearly 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Really quickly. And we've had.
And we still 2 more. No.
I gotta pee, man.
Me too. I've been drinking so much water.
Yeah, all this drink talk. Yeah, so thanks all for watching. We nearly had 100 viewers the whole way through consistently, so that's awesome. We'll see you again next time in two or 3 weeks with again shop reviews, niches, different topics, and hopefully some more guests. Let's make it a big council.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I love this
randoms.
roundtable thing. Like, you know, it's kind of cool to get everybody's perspectives. Like, and this is a testament to you guys out there. Like, don't try to follow everybody out there, but find somebody that you just resonate with, right? Because if you try to take everybody's pieces of advice and apply them all together, you're going to end up spinning your wheels and get stuck, right? Follow 1 or 2 people that you resonate with that make sense. We can all say the same thing to you, but our delivery is going to be different. You might not like the sound of my voice. You might like Juna's better. You might like the way Chris looks versus German. The way. Yeah, you might speak German, you know, like, yeah. So don't overthink this stuff, man. But it's great to get these, you know, different perspectives. So thanks for having me, Philip. This has been awesome.
Yeah, Philip, is the Print on Demand Council, is that homage to Jedi Council?
Yeah, it's gotta be.
It is now, right?
It's a Star Wars reference.
It was definitely inspired by that, yeah. Yeah, so we'll do this again in probably about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Looking forward to it. And yeah, thanks to all of you for coming on. All the channel links in the description as well. If you liked anyone's comments or ideas, there's a lot more content on their channels. And yeah, we'll see you again soon.
Awesome.
See you guys.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for having us, Phil.
There we go.